Hello and welcome to the 2025 Cyto.gg Path to Pro Combine. This is a combine put together to support players who have displayed the potential and desire to want to move on to the next competitive level. For the casting desk, my name is Eric Deserex Beltran. I am joined by Toki B. It's the first time I'm going to get to cast with you. I see you're my brother and bald as well. That's why I'm wearing the cap right now. I'm kind of hiding this.
Oh,
How you
fair enough.
doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Like you said, bald as well, wearing it proud right now. But I'm really excited for the set of games today we have because these are going to be two really solid teams. We have a lot of solid players on both of these sides. For Team A, we have Decoy, Kryra, Adam, Sushi, Protoss with Deus in the backline coaching. And Team B, we have Denethor, Munchie, Fimini, Levitate, Rovex, and Box coaching there as well. So I'm really excited to kind of see what these players have.
Yeah, a lot of these names that we've seen throughout the NACL, and we've seen how they've progressed. Some of them have thoroughly impressed me. Sushi, Kryra, definitely going to be two names from Team A. If I had to pick two from Team B, Denethor is definitely going to be up there, as well as Levitate, who we've seen from season to season. It's kind of a reunion of the old Blue Water bot lane that we have coming in. But we are now getting into draft, and to remind our viewers, this is going to be the Worlds draft. So we're getting the CFO versus HLE game. So we should get through these pretty quickly.
Yeah, and you're talking about the players, and especially on Team B, there's one other name I do want to bring up, and that's Fimini. Now, Fimini did have a decently weak split as a team when they were playing in the NACL on Apex, but I think Fimini and Lojaz as a duo were so strong. I think Fimini, especially on the Azir, is just such a strong player, and because little spoiler alert, we are going to be having the Azir on Fimini this time around. So hopefully Fimini will be able to bring it out and kind of really show exactly what Fimini can do on this character, because I've seen some incredible plays, and unlike a lot of Azirs, and this is something I've criticized across every tier, including Worlds, I've seen that happen. FlyQuest and Joris will know what I'm talking about. Isn't trying to be a playmaker on the Azir, isn't trying to engage on the Azir. He knows his job is just deal as much DPS as possible. Eventually, he can come in with a stream of shuffle, split people off, but I don't know. It's very clean play, it's very methodical, and Azir, if you played like that, brings on so much DPS, and Fimini knows how to play to those strengths, so that's why I'm excited for it.
And it's kind of fun because it's a little bit of a showdown against his old teammate from the NACL and Decoy being on Team A. So gonna have a lot of fun with that. I do remember AMI. Even though it was a team that did eventually get relegated, you saw a lot of potential on that team. So Fimini, definitely one of those names that's going to stand out. Let's take a look at the draft right now and try and see what we're expecting right now. I mean, you've already hyped up Fimini being on that Azir. I'm also very curious to see how Sushi's going to do on this Ezreal. I've been very high on Sushi, to say the least. He's shown a lot of growth over time, where he's kind of gotten out of this awkward bubble of his own and been able to explode into the scene much more prominently, as we saw him with Dorado. So how are you feeling about it, man?
I mean, I've been a Sushi fan for almost 2 years now. Definitely back when he first joined into the tier 3 scene. Always been a strong player and has a very large champion pool as well. And Ezreal is one of the champions at the forefront there. When he did have his brief stint over with Near Airport, there was one series that he filled in, played Ezreal, and had an absolutely phenomenal game on it. And I've seen him do this in trials. I've seen him do it back when he played on Lotus. Sushi's Ezreal is incredibly good. So, I mean, I cannot hype that enough, but kind of like you mentioned, looking over at the other side of that matchup, it is going to be into Levitate, who is another one of those players that's kind of always been right between tier 2 and tier 3, either the top part of tier 3 or unfortunately sometimes near the bottom side of that NACL division. And for Levitate, my first champion when I think of him is going to be the Xayah. And I think Yunara, while obviously not playing in the exact same way, it's still one of those team-oriented AD carries. You kind of want your team to help set you up a little bit. But if there's anyone that's going to be able to maximize the damage potential of the Yunara, Levitate is going to be able to do it. This champion should be his bread and butter, though. To be completely honest, I've never seen him played yet, but I imagine this will be quite good as well.
I'm also going to be watching this jungle matchup very, very closely. When I see Kryra, I usually get excited about it because this dude has so much potential. We saw what happened with Blue Otter in Split 2 of NACL, where Blue Otter was kind of lost, not really winning that many games with Lojaz. Kryra steps in. Suddenly, this team makes a run all the way to third place from playoffs. And Kryra was definitely a big part of that. When I think of Cryro, I don't think of Xin Zhao. I usually think of Zach, but that's because it's one of his big pocket picks. But he's incredibly capable on a lot of these big fighters, Wukong, Vi, and of course Xin Zhao, who's been the bread and butter of that role for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Cryra's able to play basically every single champion in the jungle role. I mean, if you've ever watched any of his solo queue streams, he played Evelynn back when that was busted. He played Graves back when that was busted. I believe he plays Ivern as well. That's like the only jungle champ, I'm not sure, but everyone else on that list, you can be assured Cryra does know how to play. And Zach is definitely still the first thought. I mean, it's Cryra's favorite champion, but but Cryra's a very aggressive player. And that's one thing. He's always very consistent, but he's also very aggressive, which I think is a very difficult style to play into when you're not used to playing at kind of this tier 2 pace that a lot of these teams are able to set. So for someone like Munchie, who's going to be over on Team B, who is a younger player, hasn't really had as much experience in this scene yet, but he's definitely an up-and-comer. I believe he's only 17 or 18, somewhere there, so definitely still has a long time to improve, and especially jungle role. Definitely one of those roles where having the experience, having the knowledge can benefit a lot. But it is the J4. It is one that pretty much every single jungler should know how to play. They've all done it in the past. They're all going to be able to continue, but we'll just have to see exactly if Munchie's going to be able to deal with the aggression that Cryra's almost surely going to be able to bring out, or if Munchie's just going to be able to bring the aggression himself, because Jarvan is a very aggressive champion too.
Yeah, I always love playing Jarvan because you don't need an instruction manual for it, right? Like flag and drag Cataclysm, here you go. This is your champion, have a lot of fun. Very basic to play, but incredibly impactful the way you can actually maneuver around the map, because at level 2, you're already a threat to be able to gank some of these lanes. In the hands of Munchie, I've been liking what I'm seeing from Munchie so far, as, you know, we've had a bit of tape in the scouting combine with Munchie, and he's been able to pull up some really good stats. Yesterday, might have tanked those stats a little bit, but already the potential's there. He spent a lot of time trying to qualify for the NACL, and that's what this combine is for, man. Getting you some eyes, getting you some tape, to be able to continue to build that reputation and potentially play in Tier 2, whether it be ACL or the NACL. But now we're ready to go into game number 1 between Team A and Team B.
Yeah, but kind of like you said there, because this is a combine. This is not just one elimination game. It's not a league where every single game matters. These players are going to be trying something different. They're going to be trying some strategies that they normally wouldn't play. So I could see that tanking some of their win rates. But the main thing is we're going to be able to see how consistent these players are. We're going to be pushing their champions to their limit. We're going to be pushing their mental to the limit. And especially the versatility. Because they're going to be forced to play with a lot of different players they haven't played with before. I'm sure they all know each other to some extent from solo queue at the very least, but it's a very different scenario when you are trying to play competitive, when you are trying to play on comms. The coaches are kind of giving you the strategies you need to do. And I think that's really going to, first of all, expand the horizons for all of these players, especially younger ones like Munchie. And it's also going to really demonstrate just what they're capable of instead of just kind of being locked into the current meta.
I mean, that's what's incredible about scouting combines, because at the end of the day, it's not really about winning or losing. What you're looking for is adaptability, how they handle pressure, how they play from behind. There's a lot of things that you want to test in scouting combines. So shout out to our coaches once again, Deos and Bach. Deos on Team A, Bach on Team B. The coverage for the scouting combine in this block right now. But we got to start bringing up things that are happening within the game itself, because a lane swap was called rather early from Team B. They're looking for that world's meta style lane swap.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense in this situation, because Cassante, yes, can be really strong, can be a very strong threat, but specifically when killing AD carries, you kind of want that level 6 for yourself. So, and because of that, we also saw that Munchie did start over in that top side, so he will be in the top area in case Cryra did try to do that 3-minute timing gank. But as we can kind of see on our mini-map as well, Cryra is walking around the bot side, so Levitate should be able to just safely spawn and get a couple levels. I don't think this was a case of them trying to run away from the Ezreal Nami lane. Definitely not the strongest lane in terms of kill potential, but
yeah, Sushi already going on to Denethor. almost getting him for the first blood. Now, this is going to be very concerning for me because this is not the way you want the lane swap to go. Usually, around the third wave, you want your support to start to roam out and allow for that solo EXP for your top laner. And then eventually, you just take advantage of the catch-up XP to get back in there. And Denethor getting knocked out of lane this early is going to be a lot of trouble for Team B.
And Denethor's going to be holding onto the teleport as well. I know you typically shouldn't be teleporting back, but because of the size of the wave, because this is finally crashing in, I think it might have been okay to just dump the TP. Yes, you'll be losing out on it later on, but you won't be as far behind, because we see right now Hoarder already level 4, as we do have Denethor over there, level 3, and now so even in that 2v2, this is not an even 2v2, because Hoarder hasn't really been missing out at all on any of these minions. Is even able to pressure levitate a little bit. They're same level. If anything, Hoarder's a little bit up there. So definitely a bit of a rough swap to start for Team B, but ultimately it should still be close enough that it shouldn't matter too much, but it's definitely going to hurt their tempo.
I really don't like this. You can tell this is becoming a failed swap because they're just going back to standard lanes right now. Denethor is going to be behind in levels, and that's not going to bode too well in this matchup against Decoy. By the way, funny name, RNG Hoarder is one of his account names. Gotta appreciate that. But back to standard lanes for Team B.
Yeah, they're going to be right back in there. And yeah, players really like changing the names to kind of confuse who's actually at the helm there. I thought maybe this could have just been a swap, but yeah, you're right. It is just going to be RNG Hoarder being played by Decoy there. But looking over at the mid lane right now, this is about what we expect. Tide and CS, neither one's really pressuring each other too hard, so I think they have a good chance but they're just going to get started very early on this fight. They do have a priority spot at the same time. It looks like they do want to contest from Team B, and they do have the inside track for 5 minutes.
This is tough. This is really tough for Team A to try to continue with just because you have so much engagement. For Kryra able to flash out and get away, but now Levitate is leading the charge, and that's what you do not want for your ADC. Now is Adam. Good there for Rovex as he's looking for a way out of this one. You know, Team A able to weather the storm. Does cost the flash of Kryra, but they will be able to chase Team B out.
Yeah, but I think Team B should have enough time to get right back in here before the dragon is pulled again. Though it will be giving first priority once again over to Team A. If you're able to get the jungler out, it makes it especially this early on. And this is also Cloud Drake. This is one of the highest DPS dragons in the early game. If you're trying to tank it, it's going to be dealing so much damage to you. And even on someone like the Jin Zhao that has some pretty good sustain, able to kill from jungle.
Trade this one out. Looks to go forward with the arcane shift. Gets caught by the knockup. That's first blood for Levitate. Levitate flashes away, but Protoss will match that. Waves go down, and it's going to be a kill for a kill, but ultimately Levitate is liking. He got the better of the trade because that's where the kill went, to the marksman.
Yeah, and the wave is also going to be pushing towards Levitate, which is going to be really nice for them. Especially since both junglers are now at the top side. You don't have to worry about that potential dragon play to start with the wave crashing. So it's just going to be a very safe take for Levitate, going to be able to collect a ton of minions, but potential dive in the top side definitely really good.
This is one of the bad sides about being the Rumble. You're very diveable, but still gets the damage in to return fire onto Decoy. A 1-for-1 in the top lane as Denethor will get an outplay.
Yeah, Denethor was able to clear out most of that wave as well, so really not losing out much. And in fact, because Kryra was the one to get the kill, it is going to be benefiting Denethor in the top side. Now, one thing I always like to mention on these things is, even if it's an even trade, the assist still will always give a little bit extra bonus. So once he doesn't find anything else on the map, it is just going to be still a beneficial play for Team A. They're the ones that are going to get just that little bit of extra money from that exchange.
Finding Strela Shuffle finds it into the double knockup, followed by the J4 Flag and Drag. That combo was absolutely beautiful.
I mean, that was exactly what they needed to do there. And this is the 5 mini I was talking about. Knows when to go aggressive on the Azir, knows how to set up the plays. And in general, that is one of the reasons you do pick the Azir. It is so easy to make plays in the mid lane on the champion. Just the stream and shuffle, especially on the champions like Yorina. Granted, that's not who they ended up taking out. Kind of just took out Protos. Anyone who really doesn't have any kind of dashes is very easy to take. But now fight starting over the ground.
You gotta remember, Kryber's had some econ, so let's have some itemization to make it like that. Shockwave goes out, it's gonna force the flash out of Munchie. Final 2 grubs should go the way of teammate.
Yeah, there's no equalizer, so I really don't want teams to fight this. I think it's okay to give up the second round.
Yeah, here we go, 3 talents, right line knock up on to Rovex. Gets Sushi as the dunk comes through. One kill's gonna be found. Sushi claims it onto the J4, but gets chased down by Levitate. Levitate will chase down 2, getting a double kill. Still deep in there is Denethor. 3 talent strike finds the knockup, and it's not enough to stop Pryra's onslaught. It's gonna be a rough trade going on. Goes dead even on the grubs.
Yeah, but I believe the third grub was taken by Team B, and considering they didn't have equalizer at the start of that fight, obviously Denethor threw it at the end, I actually think that went a lot better for Team B than I expected it. And the fact that all of those kills went to Levitate, this is, well, I was going to say the late game carry, but they also have the Azir. This is going to be one of your late game carries. Being able to push the pace on this AD carry, being able to get even more gold, and that's going to be the whole crack of the lead right now, actually.
That's
very strong
scary
position.
Yeah, Levitate, I've always found him to be a very capable ADC player. Maybe not the most standout, but he's very solid for what you need him for. And when you're able to give him a lead, he can definitely run with it. Kraken Slayer this early
Explosive face melter
for Team B.
Yeah, and we've already seen just kind of dishing out damage by just hitting both onto Kryra and onto Sushi at the same time. Just very difficult to deal with. And this Yunara, once she scales, once she gets the she'll be able to basically burst down teams. On his release, I considered her a mini Sivir, but at this point, I kind of consider Sivir the mini Yunara. Because that spread damage coming out from the Q just deals so much more damage to Ricochet ever wish it could. In the meanwhile, Team A gonna be able to sneak away with Dragon. There's no vision on from Team B. Have a and actually, Kyra even playing a little bit aggressive, looking into the jungle, potentially looking for the but looks like Munchie's just going to be able to back away and escape Adam.
He doesn't have flash. He does not have flash. Caught by the ultimate. Denethor now stepping up, looking to burn down Adam. Will pick it up with ease off of Rovex's rotate.
Yeah, but they brought so many players to the top side, and they left Mini alone in this bot lane now. Unfortunately, they don't have a wave on Team A to push this in and potentially set up a dive, since they did have a down here, but they'll still take that cross-map trade. I believe they did steal a wave with move up as well on the side of Team A, but as well as killing Munchie. So gonna be able to push the pace a little bit there. And we were talking about potential carries for Team A, and Kryra is definitely one of them. And right now, 4-0-1 on that Xin Zhao. If there's anyone you want super ahead early that can kind of scale the rest of the team to kind of push the pace, it is definitely.
But that's going to be the tough part, though, because this means Kryra needs to spread that love to the rest of his carries. When you look at Team B, look where the gold is really oriented at. You look at Levitate, 3 kills over to him. 5 Mini is able to pick up 1, 2 kills over to Denethor. That means they're already past that 4K gold point. It's going to be good for them when it comes to these later mid-game fights, especially around neutral objectives, setting up around for a dragon. You love having an equalizer that's buffed up. You love having a carry who can swing away and deal big damage. When all that income is on Kryra, it puts a lot of pressure onto Kryra to not fall in these fights.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the biggest part of these fights is going to be Kryra versus Levitate. If Kryra's going to be able to burst out Levitate, because that's where most of the gold is right now in TV, then all of a sudden, the fact that your marksman's 3-1-0 has defeated Kraken is kind of way ahead of the pace of the game. It won't matter if the Xin Zhao is just able to do 1-1 and kill him outright. And with a 4-0-1 Xin Zhao, and especially with Kryra's playstyle, that is a definite possibility. Now, they do have Rolex on the Wukong. They do have a lot of different healing options. Emperor's Divide as well from 5 Mini. They have ways of killing away, but now they caught out him in the
And Kryra caught out. but is that really going to be the case? Does have a back pocket Nami and a lot of gold with that Summer Spell. Go ahead and bring the pain through. Levitate, rotating out from the mid lane, taking a peek at what's going on, but so far a lot of map control coming out of A. They allow this to continue pushing forward into the jungle.
Yeah, and right now, Team A definitely winning out on the pressure, winning out on the overall gold between teams. Maybe walking into a bad spot.
Hard to get damage in. Shockwave does not land, but Adam doesn't need it. Now Kryra trying to situate himself for this angle. It's going to be a double kill now for Adam. Free Talon Strike gets another knockup onto Rovex. Rovex realizing there was no reason to dive into that fight other than to feed the Xin Zhao more.
Yeah, I think Munchie went a little bit too aggro there. You have to understand, Denethor has been put behind in the early game. Denethor isn't quite right now. They did not have vision on the game. Members, they didn't know if it was. They just wanted to sacrifice.
Yeah, looking to try and get that all out. Will be decoy. I'm trying not to slip up, man. I see Hoarder, and I want to say Hoarder. It's a decoy. I'm right this time, and very close to I mean, if that all out was off cooldown, it would have sent him right over that wall, and that would have been a kill.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing we should be thankful for as Gavin right now is it isn't decoy support. I think that would be the worst. Especially if we also end up getting his.
It would have been a nightmare, man.
But yeah, right now they are going to be getting the vision control over in the top side of Team B. The Red Herald is already up, so this is something they want, and they're actually going to pull it. They don't have full vision control yet. There is still that one Nico that is able to help him out. And Adam getting so much close to the wall. Suki coming in from behind as well. This is going to be a big team, and this may decide.
I really don't like this from Team B. It's very risky because this is the type of situation Oriana's dream of. Get them all on the pit and be able to get an excellent shot wave. He's going to push them away. Kryra says thank you for the leash. I'm very much appreciated, and Harold goes over to Team A.
Yeah, I definitely told you. I don't think this is the play they needed to do. This isn't even a case where they're behind. They need to play desperately because they have the assist, they have the rumble, they have Rip Trail charging after the mid lane, but but they have a scaling is basically the point I'm trying to make here. If they're able to just follow up while they take the objective, eventually the build is a bit of a group deficit is okay. As long as they don't enable the growth of it for Team A. And right now, at around 3 to 4K goldie, this is where it does start getting scary. If Team A go one more big team fight, the snowball could eventually become way too big for them to deal with.
Yeah, it's like what I was mentioning earlier. You need to see that love spread, but spreading the pain is fine. Mini Adam realizing he does not belong here. He's got no right to be here. Munchie spots him out and says, I will claim that shutdown. Thank you. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, decoy. If you're taking too many turns up here, decoy.
What I feel like it's just going to be that just going to be the execute. Now, being down for 30 seconds is still quite big, but at the same time, we're seeing here is going to be able to take another dragon for free. Not the fastest dragon, but really happy competition. I think you could see would have wanted them a little bit faster. But 17 minutes still isn't the worst. If they keep at this pace, 27, 28 minutes, that's when they can expect a soul. And what soul is it? It is going to be the Leaf Temtech, which could be really good. I mean, Oriana is quite defensive as far as mid lane champions go. Command Protect's going to be there. I haven't really seen... Oh, it's Ocean. Never mind. So, different one. But either way, that's still going to be really good for Oriana, for the post. Ezreal is never really going to have to worry about mana. And then Xin Zhao and Cassante obviously just going to be able to stay in fights so much longer. And any little bit of extra fighting prowess that they can have for the later game is going to help them out a lot.
A quick shout out to our producer of the day, Golden. The zoom in on Decoy was absolutely hilarious. As we get situated once again, taking a look at the setup around this bottom side that we're seeing from Team B, Rovex might be looking for a dive, and this could be very risky right now because Kryra is right underneath that tower. Again, he's a very wealthy man with a big shutdown, so you have to set this up just right. Protoss already coming down. Counter comes out. Levitate will take a chunk of damage. Looks to return fire onto Kryra. And onto Decoy. 4 men looking for the defense for Team A in the bot lane.
Yeah, and I don't think there was ever going to be a chance of that dive play working for Team B. So I actually like that Kryra went in there because if Kryra finds the right angle, I just don't mind. Oh! Solo kill in the top lane.
Yeah, nice little pick right there for Adam. Again, Denethor was slightly set behind due to that lane swap, so it's not exactly the best situation for a Rumble, but here we go. Levitate gonna dive to the tower, needs the flash away, trying to get away from Decoy. Decoy will not have that. He wants to claim the head of Levitate, and that's exactly what he will do. But now he's deep behind enemy lines, and he's dealing with 5 mini, whose Sand Soldiers put a spear right in his heart. Kryra, Munchie too low, can't continue by me, and however, Chris Guard makes that harder with the Shreema Shuffle on the Sushi. Sushi doesn't fall, no follow-up because health bar's too low. Now Kryra sees an angle, flash strike, doesn't find his mark, but here comes Sushi, picks up 1, looking for 2, but Denethor is there to burn him down as the fight getting chaotic over here in the bot lane inner.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-2 once again. And again, if we just look at that, that definitely favorites Team B. Because the later the game goes, the faster the pace of both teams goes up, the closer they will get to that late game power they wanted to come. But unfortunately, it isn't just in the vacuum. We had Adam pushing in the top lane, got that tier 1. We saw a couple waves dying over in the mid lane as well that Kryra was able to push in after that fight. So overall, definitely still a bad move for Team B. They almost made that play work, and I think 5 mini with that Shreema Shuffle just looking so much at Sushi. It would have been a huge kill to get. They had so many people at such low health bars, but they're just not able to finish enough of them to make that play worth it for themselves. But this does give them a little bit of an inside track. It gives them a little bit of priority and pressure where they can get at least some basic vision around the Otacon, because they have just been getting completely zoned away from all of these objectives. It's still a difficult fight, but apparently they could be part of it.
Boys stepping up for members of Team B will be chased off. Otacon has now spawned, so the attention will be in this bot lane. Now, 5 mini was very close to the effect on Kryra. Kryra was... That's a big bounty, man. That's really about a 670 gold bounty they're looking for. Kind of tricky to grab. That Crescent Guard is always going to make it a very big task to actually have to go close up. Instead, it's going to be a trade with now. Team B will focus on the mid lane inner, and they'll forfeit the Otacon.
Yeah, I think that's a really good trade for Team B, as long as they're all able to get away, but this is just a Otacon. Quite slippery to catch out unless you have a ton of cards. But it wasn't just the inner, it was also the tier 1. So I believe that's a total of around 1,500 gold going over to Team B, which historically is around the same value as the Otacon. The Otacon is still slightly more, but again, this pushes the pace for Team B. This gets them closer and closer to that late game. We already see, I'm not even going to compare the golds. All I care about is the total gold that Team B has, where 8,600 on Levitate, 8,200 on 5 mini. The only one that's really behind that you definitely want to have more gold on is Denethor, because I think Munchie will still be able to do his job, will still be able to get the Cataclysm, the Flag Attack.
Will Magic going into the fray is Kryra. He wants Munchie. Tail strike against Denethor. Gets the follow through as the shockwave will pull Munchie right back on in. Sushi fighting for his life. Will be able to get Levitate low in the process. Decoy looking for an angle back in, but Team B to temper their momentum forward. They're already down a man. Munchie did fall. They'll be chased away from the dragon.
Yeah, and that will be the sole point going over to Team A. I'm not trying to blaze them up or anything, but I think right now it is very deserved. Just found the perfect target, because they were trying to set up in that topside choke point. It's still not the best choke point that we could have had, but that's where you want the equalizers. That's where they did throw their Cataclysm. And he realized, hey, Munchie's just completely alone. I am 7-0-4. If I just get rid of Munchie, the rest of my team can survive long enough that I'll come back and win us the fight afterwards. Which is exactly what happened. They just got rid of the jungle, got rid of the smite. The resin team was completely fine. Sushi was probably the one that was threatened the most, but still has this flash. Like, he was not ever in full lethal danger. They have Protoss on the Nami. They do have their heal, so it was just such a smart call, just picking the perfect target in that team fight. And especially in those chaotic team fights, that's a very difficult skill to have.
This is something we were talking about before this match even started. Was how valuable Private is, how we have a lot of people that thought Sushi's in a bad way. Sushi from the wall, not knowing how to shockwave match it, and he goes legendary. Kryra's an absolute beast, man, as he'll take down Munchie once again. But I believe they want more because it's Decoy leading the charge. Look at the all-out, all-in, finding Denethor with the equalizer going down. It's not going to do squat. Finally, Decoy does fall, but look at where Kryra is in the face of Levitate. He tries to shuffle, but he trips on his own steps. And those are big kills coming out because all that remains is Rovex, and Team A will march forward.
Yeah, and I said before, because we saw Levitate was dealing a ton of damage there. Decoy even got melted, and this is the tankiest member of Team A. But if Kryra is able to solo kill Levitate, then the team fight basically ends then and there. And that's exactly what happened. Kryra just immediately jumping onto Levitate after that fight started. Once Levitate was able to start dealing out that DPS, boom, there's your Jin Zhao right in your face. Basically got one shot by him, wind becomes lightning. And the final knock from 3-town strike did like 3/4 of Levitate's health, so not too much counterplay available for him there once the Jin Zhao is already on top of him. And they're just able to continue growing their lead, and at this point, especially with the dragon spawning in around 2 to 3 minutes, this is going to be the potential final nail going in for the man. Now Kryra's still looking for more plays.
This is scary. This man is terrifying. What is he doing? Their families, each of these players have, you don't want to upset the moms and dads here, but he's just so brutal, dude. He just keeps going forward. Kryra on this Xin Zhao, and it's only getting worse because now he can even be more risky. His Guardian Angel is completed, so he can throw caution to the wind, get in your face, and kill your carries in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, he's such an aggressive player. He's not letting them get anything on the map right now. As soon as they want the red buff, no, they're retired to face. As soon as they want to get the vision to the fire, but they're not shockwave.
Great shockwave coming out from Adam. Teleport now following through Sushi, able to arcane shit back. Tidal wave finds only one, but look at Munchie as he gets picked off by Sushi. Sushi able to shift right back on out. Baron going to be secured by Team A. 5 Mini looking to bring in the DPS as people critically low. Shurima Shuffle finds one, Shurima Shuffle finds two. 5 Mini in the clutch, looking for his way back in. Here, boss music. Kryra is here. He doesn't land. The wind becomes lightning, but 5 Mini gets a triple kill, and somehow, some way, they escape the big boogeyman that is Kryra. No, Denethor. No, Denethor. You're not supposed to step back up there, Denethor, because Kryra will kill. He goes legendary once more with the Q3 finding its mark. Levitate will see the gray screen, and you can't stop this man.
Oh, they overstay on Team B. I think once 5 Mini got that triple kill, that is good enough. You lose the Baron, sure, but you get a massive team fight which goes onto another one of your hard carries. We were talking about Levitate before, but 5 Mini, 11.8k gold, 6-1 and 2 now after that fight, and you cannot overstay and give that gold lead right back to them. I mean, they're still gonna have the extra gold. They're still gonna be even stronger this next team fight on Team B, but the lead that they could have gotten themselves, the extra pacing and tempo that they bought for themselves with that tooth and nail fight of just getting something out of that team fight, getting something out of that Baron take, and they were so low to start the fight. The fact they were able to get a triple is so big on its own, but I think they just overstayed. And I'm wondering if it's because they weren't aware that Crescent Guard was still up. Because if Crescent Guard was down, yes, bait that play out. Bait that play as hard as you can, because if he goes in, wind becomes lightning once, and you're able to kite backwards from that, that's it. He's just going to die. At the very least, you're going to get his GA, but he had the Crescent Guard. Levitate wasn't able to deal damage. Denethor can only deal damage in melee range, and we saw how well that worked out. So I'm wondering if it literally was just calling out those ultimates.
I don't know. Maybe it could have been a little bit too much hubris right there to try and take the recall in the bush. I don't even feel like it's the bait you should go for when Guardian Angel's up. This man is just so terrifying. Again, something we were saying was he had a lot of teams he could have picked from. Actually had one in his mind, which was Dark Zero. Didn't actually follow through with that as Dark Zero went elsewhere. It left Kryra a free agent. He got picked up by Blue Otter, and he ran that team all the way to 3rd place. Big amount of mismaneuverings right there. The mini gets picked off by Kryra, and Adam chasing him down, and it's another one to the tally of kills for Kryra.
Yeah, and that's going to be Soul now. And once the Soul goes down, maybe they'll be able to get a little bit of here, but ultimately it's not going to matter too much. They're going to be able to infinitely siege, and I know it's not a big thing to talk about, but the fact that Ezreal doesn't need to worry about mana at all to just continue to makes such a big difference in those fights. The fact that Decoy and Prior are basically going to have that much extra health, that much extra healing, which, by the way, there's no anti-heal yet over on Team B, so this Ocean Soul is going to have even more value with that. Alongside the couple barons that they still have, they're just going to get so much value, and I think Team B, they're just going to try not to lose here, and I think that's really their only option.
Kryra right now has components building up towards a Spirit Visage. That is a terrifying prospect, because Mini is one of the players that's doing the best. If he's already able to do this much damage and itemize the magic resist to nullify Mini, it's only going to get grosser, man. He's got a Guardian Angel already, and now the Spirit Visage is completed.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be so difficult for them. So much magic resist, so much health, so much healing. I definitely want to see Denethor pick up the anti-heal here, because at this point, Denethor is just completely out of the game. And right now, Mini and Levitate, they are the only 2 champions on Team B that aren't behind the pace of Team A. So let them build full damage, let them build at full DPS, and let everyone else kind of support them. But they could have found a place spot like double TP.
Oh, Denethor, we've seen this screen before, maybe too many times, as it goes Ray once more. Mini getting attacked, will throw out that stream of shuffle, gets blocked by Decoy. On the opposite end, Levitate looking for an angle for himself, and it's going to be Rovex who grabs the kill. Levitate falls. Now Munchie tries to escape, says, please, sir, let me get away. No more, I am done. Yes, you are. Kryra will assassinate him in this Xin Zhao. Look at this monster. Look at this man. Look at this beast.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, this should just be the game-ending play there. They're just going to try pushing in, though. They don't really have any way super pushed in, but I'm a little bit surprised they're not trying to push in bot lane just a little bit harder. But either way, we're basically seeing the stage now. Everyone's still full HP. They did get Sushi, which is definitely nice for Team B, but he is going to have Flash on this next life. He's going to have the rest of the team behind him. It's good to look for picks on Team B, because you kind of need to make something. But it's just so hard to find out without getting punched in the spot.
He's trying to live up to his name. Decoy. So dang, Shockwave comes out from Adam. And just like that, Rovex falls to half health. It's pretty terrifying. It's Orianna also online, something we haven't talked too much about, because Crackle's just been in the spotlight all game.
I mean, Kyra definitely has that about him. We'll always try to take the spotlight in any game that he plays, but I think we should be talking about Adam a little bit too, because yes, this isn't the highest damage build that an Orianna can pick, but because of their lead, I think it's okay to build a little bit more defensive here, because it is the Zhonya's, it is the Archangel staff. Adam's a very difficult target to go on right now, and the placement of those shockwaves has been really, really good. I mean, in the last 2 fights, I believe, Mini was caught out exclusively by Adam's shockwaves. And this is one of the 2 players that I was saying is the only threat on Team B. And if you can eliminate one of them, even if the other stays alive, you can just stat check them, run straight through them. So if Adam's able to find Mini at the start of the fight, and he has been so far, then the fights are just over before they even begin. And Adam's been finding those perfect plays, finding those perfect angles, and making it a lot easier for the rest of the team to play, especially with the try right. Just continuing his aggression, not allowed to get any more than that.
Yeah, Rovex, no escape. Oh, well, it's a Rakan, so it can't be said right now for Munchie. Sushi will be able to get the kill credit for that. Now he's down. Sushi looking for Denethor. Denethor will go golden. Equalize the flamethrower combo, gets caught by the bubble and extinguished by the tidal wave of Protoss. This is looking to be the end right now. Down the top side of your map, you just need the minion waves to charge forward.
They still have 135 Mini, but even with that, it's going to be so difficult. They're just angling on
credit is due. 5 minutes put up a tough fight, but Fryra put up the toughest. Team A looking absolutely dominant in this game, not allowing those early kills of Levitate to get to them. They will take over. They will pad the KDA stats, get those numbers even higher before they close this game out in dominating fashion.
I mean, excellent game coming in from today. I mean, especially Kyra. I mean, like I said, when you go 15-0-7 in a game like this, it's impossible not to put on the glaze. You know, I'm just had an incredible game. But one thing I do want to talk about is how he was using that lead, especially in that mid to late game. Because you saw the second anyone tried to approach the jungle at all, Cry was going to go in, zone them away, pull a bunch of their HP out. And then after that, and this is what I think is a big difference between NACL players and LCS players. After that, he didn't back away. The rest of his team was backing out, trying to set up towards the Baron. Cryer went even deeper in, because now he knows Rovex no longer has HP. Rovex can't engage anymore. So just like that, their only real engage threat is going to be Munchie, and that's his next target. So he's just going to get rid of all of their engaged potential, make sure they don't have the health to even start these fights. Because, again, we talked about this before. Yes, they have the Yunara, they have the Azir, they have a ton of potential damage on Team B. But those are two champions that need setup. Those are two champions that cannot make their own damage. They need to have time to just free hit, gives a couple of free autos. And if you give them that opportunity, yes, they will deal incredible DPS. But Cryer got rid of anyone that could give them that opportunity. So I hate to put on the glaze this much, but I mean, there's just really no way around it. I mean, Cryer dictated that game.
I really do feel like a lot of this, of course it's from Kryra's great play, but, some questionable decision making really did show up early on. I didn't like the lane swap. I didn't like it at all. At some point, you want Denethor to be alone, but you couldn't leave him alone when he's on that rumble and he was getting harassed that much, which meant that he was put in a duo lane. He had to share EXP for a while. The whole idea of a lane swap in the current meta is to kind of create this artificial 3 solo lanes where you use catch-up XP to get your support back up to snuff. And that was a little bit too much to handle. It's part of what snowballed this game very early on. It kind of took out one of your members before you could even get them to the ball game. And it's a pretty rough situation right there. I feel like going back and just reviewing that tape and saying, like, why did this not work out? Okay, some of our macro wasn't the best. That being said, though, I do want to give credit where credit is due for Team B. I think Fine Mini was definitely a big standout in this game. I look at the mid-game play where he did this Shurima shuffle that set up an excellent wombo combo with Munchie and Rovex. Stuff like that is stuff you can definitely be proud of, even in defeat. Because remember, this is a scouting combine. We're looking for plays from these players that show us the potential that they are tier 2 capable.
Yeah, and I think every single player at some point has shown that they do have that. I mean, Sushi had a couple of very solid pickups. I mean, right before the Baron went down, was able to snipe out Munchie. So even if Sushi did go down later, which I believe he did go down to find Mini, it is what made sure that Baron was completely safe to take. And I'd even argue that going in with the Arcane Shift wasn't a bad play, even if he did die afterwards, because that was less misplay on his side. That was more Fine Mini just playing an amazing team fight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're definitely seeing a lot of potential from a lot of these players, some that have it more filled out than others already, but we can definitely see why these are the players that were chosen to come here.
Yeah. Well, hats off to Kryra. That's all I got to say. So off of that note, we are going to give mercy to our producer and throw it over to short break as we get ready for game number 2 of our scouting combine. to the 2025 Cyto.gg Path2Pro Scouting Combine. We're getting ready for game number 2 between our two rosters. And again, this is the Worlds draft that we are doing. So we're taking a draft from Worlds, this Worlds that has happened this year, and seeing how our teams can play with some of these champions and adapt to both sides of the matchup. The match we have chosen is CFO versus HLE from the group stage. And now we're just going to be switching the sides. How you feeling, Toki?
I'm again, and I know we keep talking about Cryer, but I'm really curious how Cryer is going to play the other side of this matchup, because I do think in the 1v1, Jin Zhao should be stronger than the J4. And we saw how aggressive Cryer played because he knew he was going to be the stronger one in that 1v1. That is no longer going to be the case unless he gets giga fed again on J4, but it's a lot harder to do that. It is definitely one of those champions. You are more of an enabler. You're just trying to get the rest of your team ahead. You're trying to give them as much gold as possible. So that's kind of one thing I'm interested about. The other part is Adam is also a very strong Azir player. We saw what 5 Mini could do on it, and now I want to see Adam on the Azir again. I saw it in a previous broadcast here on Cyto. Played a fantastic game there, so yeah, it's really those two champions that, once again, I just want to see, even with these mirror matchups.
I don't know. To me, it's like, which J4 is this, bro? Is this J4 from start of Worlds, or is this current J4? Because, you know, if you didn't love me at my worst, you love me at, can you love me now? I forget how the saying goes, man. I don't know what I'm saying here, but basically J4 was like 0-9 to start off Worlds and then goes on a 6-game winning streak. So, hey, you know, you never really know if we can get a better look from the opposite side of the matchup with Kryber being on that champion.
Yeah, but one thing you brought up in the previous game and between these two games, I'm hoping that Team B will not elect to do the lane swap either. Because, again, it's not a hard lane for the Yunara. They don't need the Yunara to be in the top lane to get CS. And Rumble is going to struggle so hard. I mean, we saw how far behind Denethor was put in that last game. Just really was unable to farm, was behind the rest of the series. And at that point, Decoy was so strong at the Cassante. Cryer was already enabled as well, so he could never really catch up. He was never really given the opportunity, and they just kept diving him too, just making sure he could never get back into the game. So I think if they keep that 1v1, 2v2 in the bot lane, just those regular standard lanes, and not just the 1v1, 2v2, but top laners in the top lane, bot laners in the bot lane, then they'll be in a much better spot. And I think with Levitate Rovex especially, they could do a decent job with that as well. So they will be able to farm up on these champions, on this Ezreal and Nami. They're going to be able to farm up on the other side as well with no problem. As I thought they were just going to be a swapping sides, but it looks like we're swapping draft, but it looks like we are keeping the same sides actually, if I'm not mistaken, for the teams.
No,
they're swapping sides as well. Okay. Okay. Okay, right. So it's just on the graph, but they are going to be swapping sides as well. So yeah, it is going to be Sushi on this Yunara as well. I've been seeing him play that a lot on his stream, and his solo queue can definitely carry on this champion. And I mean, it's the same draft. It's the exact same win conditions. You want your Azir and Yunara to get ahead for this left side team, and on the right side team, you kind of want to play a little bit more tempo. You want to play a bit faster with a Jin Zhao, poke with the Ezreal, and then eventually have these all-ins with the Orianna and the Cassante as well. So it's really just going to come down to execution. I mean, there's a reason why these two drafts were picked at Worlds. There's a reason why we picked this Worlds draft to come over to the Cyto Combine. So it's just going to be interesting to see the different adaptations these players do to fit their own styles.
Yeah, it should be interesting. To go back onto the lane swap topic, I don't hate it for the opposite team, though, or the team that has Cassante. It's not the worst idea to really go for, because if you have Cassante, if you have Scion, if you have Orange, just basically something that's self-sustaining or super tanky, it's not a bad idea because they can usually handle it on their own. The only reason I wouldn't see it for Team B in this case is because Nami is the support, and usually you want someone who's like can be a Rakan, even a Nautilus that can just does a little bit better when they're a river support. So we are going to have standard lanes for this matchup right here, right now. So we will get to see how the 2v2 plays out in the early stages.
Yeah, they are just going to already be poking out a little bit.
Okay.
Protoss is coming out from behind. They do have numbers on Team A.
Let them fight. Let them fight. Damn it. Okay, 5 Mini's dead. Well, yeah, good thumbs up from Protoss right there. And that's not exactly the start you're looking for. Team A going to have first blood.
Yeah, but at the very least, for Team B, it was Protoss that took that kill, which is definitely the best situation possible if that kill has to go over to Team A. So it's still going to help a little bit, and it's going to be Boots first, which actually does enable a potential earlier roam coming out of Protoss. Boots are very, very powerful on supports. It's going to make finding the angle for the engagements a lot easier too. So maybe we'll see a little bit of earlier roaming coming out of Protoss.
I mean, we had a whole meta where supports were taking like boots of mobility just to get around the map more and more. So, I mean, you're always gonna enjoy having that extra movement speed. See if those roams do come out, but very questionable kind of exchange there for 5 mini. I mean, Orianna, sure, you have the on-hit magic damage that you get from your passive. It's always going to be very nice. But you're also Orianna. You're not that mobile. Burn the flash, man. Just get out of there.
Yeah, definitely. There was many opportunities for 5 mini to just escape. I'm guessing this was just one of those cases where do anything for the mana flow band stack. Just try and get that stacked up as quickly as possible. I mean, I think we've all entered away games like that in the past.
I can agree with that. You know, back when I was playing ranked, I had my climbs, and some of them didn't go that well. I used to play a lot of Zed here and there. And if you know anything about Zed, you know, sometimes you can really mess up those clones and just absolutely look like a clown. Either it's a highlight reel or it's a...
Hi, Adam.
Now, here we go in the mid lane. Adam, looking to dash away, gets caught by the wind, becomes lightning. Munchie still on the hunt. 5 mini wants his revenge, and he will get it. But this time, the kill goes on the mid laner.
Yeah, so that actually is probably better for Team B overall. Like, if we take this full game altogether, you get the kill on the 5 mini, and that's, I guess, why 5 mini saved the flash, because without the flash,
yes.
I do think Adam gets away.
This man is so incredibly big brain. He's so intelligent. He knew it all along. He mind controlled Adam, Toki. That's exactly what just happened right here.
Yeah, it's crazy how some of these players, they're just able to look into the future by 2 to 3 minutes, and they're just doing that calculation of the team fight. It's like, if I flash now, I live, but we lose the kill onto Adam. We just trade flashes, so may as well trade flashes and the kill. And I mean, it's really impressive that these players are able to do that.
5 mini. Great to pick up a kill. I mean, it's a redemption nonetheless. I'll take it any day of the week, especially for an Orianna. Speaking of, 5 mini is already critically low. Almost died again. It's a crazy mid lane. They're just duking it out.
Yeah, and Kyra also gets taken out quite low, so we are seeing kind of the opposite side of this matchup, where now Munchie is the one that deals damage, but TP coming in, I don't think Kyra has the HP to make this gank happen. So, yeah, 5 mini is going to be okay. Just going to TP in safely. But I'm wondering what will happen, because Munchie's walking into the same jungle.
Okay, Kryra. It's a lot of ego right now. Fortunately for Kryra, there are no wards, so gotta stay away from Munchie. Munchie's gonna realize right now something is amiss. My wolves should be there. Uh-oh. I see Kryra now. Is he gonna... They killed his dog? Now the question is he gonna go John Wick on him? I kind of feel the movement coming out from Munchie. He's going for the long chase. He's still going. Still going. He's hungry for it. He wants to get something back. He wants his revenge, and he's going to be a jungle camp man.
Honestly, that isn't even the worst. Now, I'm wondering if he's going to leave one of those chickens behind for Cryer to deal with later, though. I don't know if he knows that there is still one wolf remaining, so... at the very least, I do believe that now it does clear away, having jungled in a very long time, if you couldn't tell. But I did see the Gal remove it off the minimap, so all good on that. But I do like the Munchie is playing this far forward. This time around on that winning 1v1 matchup as Adam going aggressively.
Lots of Sand Soldiers to get a lot of damage. 5 mini looking to return fire, but it's very difficult at this stage right now. Still going to look for it. And you got the command attack, protect, dissonance, all of that. Sure, it's nice along with the passive, but when you get that front end burst from the Azir, thanks to having so many Sand Soldiers in proximity at once, doesn't exactly help you that much with the trade, and having flash down is going to be a big pain right now because here comes Kryra.
Yeah, Kryra once again finding that play in the mid lane, but I mean that was all set up by Adam there, making sure the 5 mini was super low HP, making sure that it was just a fight that he could not take, and with that gonna be rewarded with another kill, gonna be able to push the lane in as well. But no dragons haven't started yet. At this point in the last game, Kryra was trying to really burst down an early Drake. I think his first attempt was at around that 4-minute mark. But Munchie is playing a little bit slower in that regard. But they do have Prio in the bot lane. We haven't talked about the bot lane yet, but 10 CS difference for Levitate. They have first move. They have first priority. So could definitely be an angle for them to take on Team B.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about the bot lane when 100% of the kills already have been in the mid lane. And I don't think that's ending. Right now, Mini has to pay respect to the fact that this man does not have flash. Orianna, not move well. No dash. Dissonance, movement speed buff, cool. Flag and drag, you're knocked up, you're dead. So be careful right now because we're seeing another gank happening in the mid lane. Mini is not going to see the end of this until that flash is back up.
Yeah, and Munchie as well hit that ward in the bot lane tri-brush. And so because of that, Kyra knew that there would be no counter gang if he just went for that play. They weren't able to find it, but it was a pretty safe attempt. Now this dragon, both sides are ready to fight. Level 6 on both these mid laners, no level 6 on these junglers. So this could be a very close fight with Sushi getting poked out.
There's no flash on Mini. He's dead. He's absolutely dead. Actually, the knockup counterattack coming through. Shockwave, no! Kryra will fall, and Mini is able to flip the script because there's not enough damage. There's not even enough mana on Adam. Another knockup goes, and Mini, okay, actually, he was dead at the end of the day. Yeah, give me that zoom in. What are you doing? You don't got flash. Still, the fight continues. Adam looking to get away from this one. Mystic shot plus an auto could finish him off. What a crazy exchange, man. Mini, I'm pretty sure he's going to be grateful that flash is finally back up.
Yeah, and the all-out almost finds Hoarder there in the top side, but to kind of talk through that fight, it was so difficult for Team A to approach, and I actually think they should not have at some point because Sushi was out of mana, low on HP. Adam basically had 0 mana as well at the start of the fight. Obviously got that trade in the end, but they did not have the conditions to really contest this on even ground. And especially because, again, it is the J4 versus Jin Zhao. When your mid laner and AD carry can't carry, you can look through the jungler to carry those fights for you, especially in these early stages of the game. But Kryra is on the J4 without the Cataclysm. So the Jin Zhao is definitely going to be able to win out and provide more in those team fights too. So definitely a difficult fight for Team A, but at the very least, they were able to get some kills back. They are going to have the feat of warfare for themselves. And now with this tempo, they should be able to take out the grub. So overall, just a more or less even trade across the map.
It's just crazy how many kills have happened in lane. We got a 5-kill game and 4 of them are mid laners. So I just want to point that out.
Yeah, 3 of them are Mini.
Yeah, 3 of them are Mini. Void Grub's going to be secured over on the side of Team A. Mini looking to step up with the rest of Team B. The interception. Some damage to come through. A quick dunk on the Rovex from Kryra will get him a kill, but I don't think he's gonna go killless this time. Excuse me, deathless this time. He's got a long way to run away as he'll cut right through the towers. Should eat 1 tower shot on the way out.
Gone.
He's getting out. Yeah, he's getting out. True Shot Barrage is not gonna land, and they're not gonna continue the chase. Wow, this is like.
And he steals a cap. Okay, bud. Okay.
Toki, take over. I'm losing my mind.
I'm losing my mind too. I mean, Kryra's just playing so calmly. Because, you know, there's that mindless aggression you see, especially in solo queue and especially in the LPL where they see an enemy, they're just trying to find the angle. They're just constantly trying to fight. Just, oh, what if I do this? They're not going to expect it. I can find this angle. They're just hitting. Kryra's just, oh, yeah, this is a free kill. I'm just going to die behind. There's 3. No, it's fine. I can just walk it out after. Like, I bet he's talking with that exact same tone too. Just like finding the perfect angles, knowing exactly where to go. As Mini is able to get a kill in the mid lane, getting some more revenge.
Oh my god, this game! What is going on? Our mid laners, stop it! Get some help, damn it! All right,
they're getting plenty of help. It's just they're being used to kill the other mid laners. It's a really bit of a difficult situation there. As now both supports are here. 80 carries have just kind of been farming up. Yeah, this has definitely been a mid lane focused game.
Very much so. I mean, what can you do? Orianna not mobile. Flash down. Go jump, Orianna. Guess what? Orianna have flash now. Who flashed down? Azir. We jump Azir. Game. Welcome, League of Legends. As we continue the scouting combine. Looking at where some of this gold is allocated, I mean, it's going to feel nice for Fi Mini to be able to get that influx of gold off of the last kills. In fact, it's going to give Fi Mini a slight lead when it comes to the mid lane. Meanwhile, if you take a look over at Kryra, who is always going to be wealthy in these games for some damn reason, going to have the most gold on the team.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is how the kills have been going over in these plays. Kryra took a lot of these kills when ganking the mid lane, so a lot of 5 Mini's deaths are in the hands of Kryra. But on the opposite side of it, yes, 5 Mini's getting targeted out. Yes, as soon as 5 Mini slash goes down, everyone's just there. Everyone's just making sure 5 Mini keeps going down. But it's not Adam that's getting these kills. It's 5 Mini that's getting the kills whenever these mid lane plays do happen. So because of that, there is that little advantage. And potential dive in the bot lane too. Gonna be difficult, but Tidal Wave is down, but unfortunately so is the wave. So this play is not gonna be able to work out.
Yeah, it was a good attempt. There was only a 2 minion wave that was stepping up. And there was a lot of pressure onto Rovex to try and make something happen. He just goes for the tidal wave towards the minion wave. That's all you can really ask for. Taking away that minion wave means you take away the dive potential, which is always going to be very terrifying when it's an Ezreal Nami lane. But oh my god, leave the mid lane alone. That's right, get out of there, Kryra. No more, no more, shoo. 5 Mini doesn't burn flash, so we're good.
What did 5 Mini do to Kryra? Like, there's no reason you should keep targeting this poor Orianna. I mean, just every single play, every single roam this game, besides that one, if we can even call it a real attempt towards the bot lane, just everyone's just attacking 5 Mini. Just leave him alone. He's done nothing to you.
The lane swap detection's down. Go dive a different lane, man. Kryra getting chased out for his efforts. Taking a look at the top lane, we haven't talked too much over here. It's mostly been Decoy in terms of farm, but when it comes to the fight, that's what you always got to worry about when you're up against a Cassante. Dodging the Q3, nice from Decoy. He's chipping away at that health bar, the big bad Cassante.
Yeah, and compared to the previous game, the Rumble is just doing so much better, and definitely a big part of it is the lack of lane swap, and I think the other part of it is there's been a lot less focus on attacking the side lane from the jungle. I mean, we joke about it a lot, we've talked about it a lot, but all the jungle focus has gone over to the mid lanes, which means these solo laners, they're just kind of able to get their CS, they're able to farm safely. They're going to be able to trade between the two, and Cassante will be on the losing end of that, especially early on, but they're both still happy with the amount of CS they're getting. So this is just a continual mid lane focus. Now they're going on Adam.
All right, this is what you deserve, Munchie. Oh god, Adam's gonna die anyway. 3 talent strike finds him. One more auto to go through, following through with the ball. Munchie will dive in and grab the kill. Yeah, look at that, man.
TP's from behind though. They might find more.
This is what you deserve, Munchie. As they go right after him, the Xin Shao crescent guard up. It's not gonna be enough to defend him. The counter attack from Team A is successful.
Yeah, and I love how that play ended up working out. I mean, it's still a 1-for-1. It is going to be Munchie for Adam, but when you have your jungler left alive, you are able to just walk down and take the dragon now. There's no smite left on Team B, so ultimately, that's why we don't gank mid lane anymore. We've had our fun. Let's just leave them alone at this point, because this is a big advantage, actually, going over to Team A. It prevents any kind of dragon stacking, and again, with the team comp, when you have more of that early game, when you know you don't scale as hard, you want to get as much of those dragons as possible. You want as much early objective control as possible, because now their potential soul, which was a big reason how Team A was able to win in game number 1 when they were playing the Ezreal Orianna Jhin Zhao draft, it's because they had the Ocean Soul so early on, and they were able to like make use of it in fights. Now it's going to be pushed back to at least 29 minutes.
I do think there's some good angles to come out from Denethor. Now that he's on the Cassante and he's had some time alone, oh god, I really just cast a curse the living daylights out of this man.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah. Oh,
maybe Denethor can outplay it.
Yeah, let's see if he can find the outplay right now. All out. He's going to be available. He's taking a lot of damage, but
just hitting the turret.
A lot of that is magic damage that's going to come out from Adam, so turret's going to go down. He can at least tank that up because he's built up for itemization, but guess what? J4 there as well. So eventually, with no tower to defend him, Denethor will go down, and I will just accept my curse.
Yeah, but I gotta say, solo kill in the mid lane.
Oh, well, just going with the mid lane again. Okay, but this time it's different. It's different people getting solo killed. Okay, Sushi able to grab another one. A double kill for Sushi. And that's going to bode really well on the Yanara. Kryra, once again, looking to steal some camps.
And during this time, Munchie was able to get the Rift Herald, so there was another objective taken there, but just fighting going on everywhere. And look at the gold difference between the AD carries at this point. I mean, that double kill for Sushi definitely helping out a lot, but where did that gold even come from? Even with the 2 extra kills, I feel like there's just a little bit more there.
I mean, there's the 2 extra kills, and there's the tower plates that have been picked up on top of that, so a lot of that does come through pretty well for Sushi. You gotta give some credit on how the map has been played thus far by Team A. Even with this incredible attention towards the mid lane, with the bot lane tower going down, I will open up the map at least a little bit more to put pressure for Team A. Now looking for the response is going to be Team B. Shelly placed over in the bottom lane. See Kryra as well as Decoy showing up. Wait a little bit right here. So tower's still going to fall. There's nothing they can do to really stop that, but they still want to grab that kill against Denethor. Denethor getting caught out. Well, Shelly's still alive though. And here comes Hoarder. Hoarder dropping the equalizer. Not the best equalizer, excuse me. That's Decoy finally got me. The Unstoppable comes out from Denethor. He will fall to the autos, the overheat, the flamethrower of Decoy. I paused there for a second to make sure I was going to say it right.
Yeah, and I mean, that kill definitely takes a long time, but when you have the position, you're just going to be able to take it for free. There's just really nothing else you can really do as Denethor. I'm happy he didn't burn his flash. I mean, he knew he was just gone there. There was literally no way to outplay it, but they did get the turret. So it isn't a completely bad play for Team B. They get the tier 1 in the bot lane now. Unfortunately, this does mean that Decoy is going to be able to just push really hard in the bot lane and start threatening the tier 2, which is definitely unfortunate. Actually, just straight up takes it. Okay, now it's definitely a bad play and favoring Team A. But I mean, realistically, I don't think Denethor knew he was going to be going down there. I am a bit surprised that Team B didn't walk in with the Herald, though, because I think if they just sacked a little bit of tempo, maybe sent 1 or 2 players to the mid lane instead of all 3, they could have kept brought Denethor out of that play and gotten the turret at the same time. Instead, they're just kind of forced into that trade that I think they're the ones that started. So that's kind of the one criticism I will give of Team B for that play.
Team A still continuing the pressure. It's now onto the mid lane. Again, this opens up the map more and more. Mid lane is a very crucial tower because this means you can push your vision a little bit deeper into enemy territory without that much risk. And you can see right out the gate, Protoss doing that, getting some deep wards through. And Denethor is on a little bit of a ticking time bomb right now that's not working in his favor. Sure, he's got a lot of itemization for that magic resist, but you can see that Leandris has already come through. There's a lot of good on hit as Sushi is accelerated into this game. It's going to be a very difficult game where, you know, Denethor, sure, on Cassante, if you're able to get onto a squishy, you can do some damage to them. But the damage is going to be coming back into Denethor's face. Should be pretty big side of Team A.
Yeah, but Team B, they do get the inside track here into the river. They are first on this objective. Now they're just going to fight back for this mid lane priority. Unfortunately, that does mean Decoy is kind of able to sneak in closer towards the river, but not actually going to continue with that. They do want to be here first on Team B. I mean, when you have the Orianna, when you have the Ezreal, when you're around the objective, it's so much easier to get that poke damage out, so much easier to prevent them from approaching it when you have the inside track here. But they are still down almost 6,000 gold as Kryra's getting set up for the potential steal, and I'm wondering if they're going to go straight for the team fight. Adam's pretty far.
It's very tricky to go for the team fight because, yeah, as you said, Adam trying to get the mid-wave. Sushi gets chunked out by the dissonance. Mini's going to hold the line, jumping forward. Kryra doesn't get the steal over the wall. Protoss looking to charm them up. Out comes the equalizer. It's doing significant damage right there. Chasing down Rovex will be Decoy. That's 1 kill thus far. Support for support. Now the chase still looking to continue, but Otacon will draw those battle lines. True Shot Barrage dodged out by Decoy. Sushi backing up. And it's going to go even. All that being said, Dragon not getting stolen by Kryra. Munchie was able to secure it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Team B, especially with the gold deficit that they have, should be really happy with how that play went. And it was just good positioning. They got them in priority. They got into the river. They had their vision lines already set up. And they were just able to poke them out. Mini especially. landing so many command dissonances just across anyone who tried to approach. Sushi was super low before the fight started. Cryer was poked out a little bit. Hoarder was poked out decently, and because of that, they couldn't do their team fight. And even with the gold lead that they have, if you can't approach the dragon, you're just never going to be able to force out a fight. But at the same time, for Team A, it's good that they didn't overforce that fight. They got a little bit going. They saw that they were starting to fall behind after the dragon was already taken. And once they approached the Otacon, I think that's when they realized, okay, that's adding a little bit too much volatility. Let's just back away. The objective's already gone. We can live to fight another day.
I will give a lot of credit over to Phi Mini. You were talking about it. The dragon setup is pretty crucial for Team B. So Phi Mini being able to draw the battle line with just the ball being out there, the command attack, was very effective in making sure that a lot of this forward dive that Team A is looking to do wasn't going to mean that much. You saw that Protoss had gone in. Now Protoss looking to go in onto Rovex. This is Anami. Guess what? It's time to become sushi. And Kryra's going to be the one consuming that. And
yeah, speaking of sushi,
elsewhere, yeah, we got food being made. Sushi will become such. I guess we're just keeping this joke going around. Now the focus on the mid lane.
I don't think I've ever accidentally catch or curse someone like that. That was a very unique way to do it.
I guess I'm a little proud of myself for that. It's a very weird exchange going on, but it's all benefiting Team B. You got to give them credit. They're able to fight their way, find the fact that the play was all focused onto Rovex and make a play elsewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, this benefits Team B so much. They were down almost 6k gold at the start of that dragon fight. Now they're only down around 3k. They have closed that gap by a lot. But it looks like Team A, they're going to want to push the pace here. They know everyone reset after that tier 1. So they're just going to go for the Otacon, and I think it's just going to be theirs for free.
Munchie's not close. He's not close at all. Equalizer right onto the choke point makes it very hard to jump on in, and Otacon belongs to Team A. Now Levitate wants to make them pay. Arcane shift forward, still going for the hunt, but you got to watch out for Adam. Over the wall, Sand soldiers start chipping away, but Levitate still likes his odds. True Shot Barrage comes out, able to get just the tail end of Adam. Adam having the shield up all at the same time, and yeah, it's a nice tie coming up for Team A.
Yeah, and I really like that call to just go for the Otacon, and it's just so clever because they knew the tier 1 in the mid lane's gone. They're probably going to reset, so this is just ours.
Different call there. Anyway, yeah, it's a pretty solid call to come out from Team A and be able to catch that Otacon, keep the lead really going in their favor, especially timing out when Munchie was leaving. Pretty solid.
Yeah, and it's one of those plays as well where if they started that Otacon just a few seconds later, they would not have been able to take it. Once they were able to approach, I mean, Levitate was there first. It was still at around 7,000 HP. Give it another 5-6 seconds, and that could have been stolen by Munchie. And obviously it would have been a difficult steal anyway, but the fact that there was no chance of it at all makes a huge difference.
Decoy trying to stay alive as the push forward with the shockwave combo is beautiful. Now Phi Mini on the hunt for Protoss. Protoss, it's a Rakan, it's very slippery, will not continue that chase. All the meanwhile, Team A can make moves elsewhere. They'll focus on the inner towers, both in the top and the mid lane, forfeiting their inner bottom.
Yeah, and if they're able to get it, but Adam doesn't have a wave anymore.
Oh, Shrima Shuffle. He will still claim it, but at the cost of his life. Phi Mini will be able to pick that up in the tail end. But hey, at this point, Adam's just typing in all chat worth. And Kryra's just looking for a way out of this nightmare. Flag and Drag on cooldown currently. Finally gets the angle to escape that. Phi Mini should stop the chase from there unless we're looking to flash over the wall. No. That's Kryra gets to live.
Yeah, and I don't think it would have been worth for the flash. If the rest of the team was in the topside area, I'd argue it could have been a good flash to take the Baron, but with the rest of the team close towards the bot side and looking for the Dragon, they should be able to just pick it up for Team B. And this is going to be Soul Point just kind of out of nowhere. Team B just consistently poking everyone else out during those team fights, just going to be continuously making sure that they never have the HP on Team A to contest these objectives whenever they're able to set up first. And that's just kind of been the theme of this entire game, but they're walking in a little bit far here. And TP coming out from Adam, but no one's going to be going into this fight yet. But with the Baron being up, that is going to be the objective both teams are looking at. They're just going to go.
Yeah, Munchie looking for Adam, but here comes Protoss. Gets 1 charm, gets 2 charm, finds 3. Last one being Munchie. Munchie wants a piece of Protoss. Flag and Dre gets the knockup on the Munchie. Sushi trying to pop off right now. Gets away from the shockwave. Hourglass is beautiful. Munchie can't finish the kill. And now Denethor looking to try and redeem his squad. All out claim Sushi. Denethor fighting tooth and nail, but he will be declawed by Adam. Hoarder, excuse me, Decoy. I keep falling for it, man. We'll get taken out by the bubble of Rovex. Now Kryra wants to redeem his squad. It will happen, but here comes the supportal combat. Rovex still fighting it out. You're not going to find much else. Adam's in the back pocket. What a chaotic fight. Loses 4 for Team B, now Baron for Team A.
Yeah, this is just going to be theirs, and they just walked in a little bit too far on Team B. They didn't have the vision control they needed. They didn't have any wards at all. I think they were worried Team A has already started the Baron. And when you have a Yunara and a Azir, they take it so fast that you kind of do need to force yourself into these bushes. Try and get vision as soon as possible. Kind of skip a little bit of that usual safety you do. And this time around, Team A, they were prepared for it. They knew they were going to walk in, and they just punished them accordingly.
Denethor tried his best to get some kills back. He grabbed Sushi at the tail end of that, but ultimately falling made it a little bit too tough. I mean, for Team B, they're fighting on the back foot right now, and I'm looking at one of their outs being Dragon Soul. They do have a deficit. Yeah, it's sure about 5k, but in 3 minutes, as long as you can get first touch over there and not allow for these Baron pushes to amount to too much, that could be the answer that Team B is looking for.
Yeah, but Team B, sorry, putting on the pressure in the top side, and the pings are starting to come out on the mid tier 3, so this does look like Team A. They just want to start trading for these inhibs in the mid lane. They want to start trading for these plays. And they're just holding on for now, but the waves aren't there yet. So now Team B, they're trying to recall as fast as possible. This should still be free for Team A. They should be able to just take this inhib. But I still think it's important for Team B to reset, because if they don't, instead of just losing the tier 3 in the mid lane, they'll lose the tier 3 in the bot lane, and potentially even their base if they kept trying to get that base race going. But huge trade forward for Team A right now.
All right, jumping forward, Munchie. The Shockwave's still available, so that's one of the big cooldowns you're going to be staring at coming into this fight if it's chosen by Team B. I think Levitate's been doing a good job of getting some poke damage in as this game has gone on. Another minion wave now leading the charge forward. Looking to clear this out will be Sushi. We'll have supers coming down the mid wave soon enough. Just like that, Team A have gotten enough. They got what they came for. Now they'll have some time to light up this jungle as a sort of preemptive setup for that Dragon Soul that Team B will be looking for.
Yeah, and I mean, minute and a half left. It's going to be... I mean, Team B could just give it away if they want, but I would like to see them at least pressure it a little bit, try and slow it down. Because I think at this point, Team B should have the mindset that, hey, we are going to give away this dragon. 2 Drakes for Team A is not that big a deal, but for Team B, if they lose that fight, they straight up lose the game. Especially with both these inhibs already gone in the mid lane and the bot lane, or sorry, just in the mid lane. Like, it's going to be giving them a lot of priority for Team A. It's going to give them a wave to push in immediately if they're able to win a fight. And we're even seeing in the top side, there's a massive wave starting to crash. I want to see them poke, but... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I really don't like this, because I think Phi Mini should be catching that wave right now. Look at his build currently. He has 2 rods. He needs to finish that death cap. That's going to be a big spike coming into what could be this Dragon Soul fight. But instead, he's still matching over here. He's being forced into the situation, and the hand is being pulled. The knockup found. It's going to continue on to Kryra, but Kryra's okay with it as Adam goes on a killing spree. Denethor looking to run away, but Sushi says, nah, not today. Arcane shift away from Levitate. Tries to return fire onto Kryra, but Kryra's brought more friends to the party as Levitate runs. The cooldown will not come up in time. And now more Sushi, not the player, but the damn food is eaten up by Sushi. The game is done, and Team A will take it.
Yeah, and like I was saying, there's just no reason to fight for that dragon. It's not a big objective for Team A, and as Team B, there is no scenario where you're going to be able to get it. So because of that, they try to force it a little bit hard in the mid lane. And like you said, they didn't have the item timings themselves. If they waited another 5 minutes for the next dragon, I think they could survive if they were just turtling up in their base, just clearing the waves. They have the Orianna. She's very good at that. Ezreal, granted, struggles a little bit on that, but they still had the tools they needed to clear those waves. And with Baron running out, there wasn't too much of a push potential coming out from Team A. But they decided to go for it. They decided to fight for that mid lane pressure. They decided to fight for that positioning over Dragon. And Decoy just pulling the trigger, Kryra following up. And that's all she wrote. At that point, there was just nothing else Team B could do. The game was over.
Yes, at some point you have to realize where your win conditions do lie and what the opposite team is trying to do to you, right? You're trying to get pulled in from reaching those item spikes, like the death cap. We had two needlessly large rods. There's no reason to fight there when Dragon Soul is not even on the table for the opposite team. And guess what ends up happening? You get caught by the equalizer, followed by all the other crowd control that follows suit immediately after that, and it's like that's just a thrown away game. There's a lot of patience that has to be played in League of Legends, and it just wasn't there in that last fight.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for that for Team B is they've recognized this earlier in the game. If they're the first to the objective, they can take it, they can contest it, even if Team A is starting to approach. But they weren't. Team A was already there. They already had their vision line set up. Team B had no wards there at all around the dragon. They were going to be fighting by no matter what. Even if Team A didn't pull the trigger there, even if they decided to walk to the dragon, which I think also would have been kind of playing against the tempo of what Team A already had, so there was no reason for them to do that. But even in that case, Team B still can't approach. It's still almost impossible for them. Decoy could set up that line anywhere. As soon as he throws down the equalizer, that's basically it. That part of the map you cannot control anymore. You have to back away from there. And if they're not able to approach, if they're not able to land their poke, there's just no way they can fight for this dragon. So I would have really liked to see them back away because that game was still neck and neck. They were definitely behind on Team B, but it was definitely not a lost game until that play.
So off of that note, we got to take a moment to throw it over a short break. What is domination from the most vicious game that I've ever seen for mid lane combat?
Yeah.
We now got to get out of the World's Draft and now into the Fearless Draft. So stay tuned as we get ready for our final game of this block.
Did you ever try to further improve how fast you punch people through the roof? Oh, was there ever any certain time when you thought brute force and style combined? Well, I guess now's time to shine, 'cause finally she's here. Here comes mine. As a matter of fact, the best bet one has is to quickly react to the first attack that's safe for the bullets. She'll never pull back, just resist. Have you ever really wanted to be a total rebel, flipping tables on the enemy? Did you ever try to further improve how fast you punch people through the roof? Oh, was there ever any certain time when you thought brute force and style combined? Well, I guess now's time to shine, 'cause finally she's here. Here comes
Keep moving on. Keep moving on. And they say I have a grim sense of humor.
back, everyone, to the Sido.gg Path2Pro Scouting Combine. Wow, tripping over my words right now. We are back, and we're getting ready for game number 3 between Team A, Team B. You can see our rosters down below. Actually, not the correct rosters, but we'll get those once we actually get into the Rift itself. So at this point, no worries there. I mean, once we head into the draft, we'll have all things really settled, and this is where things get interesting because it's no longer the World Draft. We got to see how the teams performed and adapted to drafts that weren't exactly their own. Now we're going to be in Fearless.
Yeah, and we can look at this kind of as a game 2, even though it is our 3rd game, because since we just did those mirror matchups, we're only going to have 10 total champions banned away. And I was going to bring this up, and I had a feeling it was going to be a lot of jungle presence in these bans. I mean, especially against Team A, I think Kryra has just played incredibly well in both games 1 and game 2. And the S tier jungle picks, there's not too many of them. So if you're able to just lower it down, I mean, they got rid of the Trundle. That was one of the S tiers. They got rid of the Wukong on the side of Team A. It definitely pushes them further back in, but it is going to be Sion locked in. And I mean, I love Sion. I know a lot of people hate him just because, I mean, he just stands there, tanks, does whatever, but Sion's one of my favorite champions in the game. I think he's so much fun to watch. There's very few tanks that have the full fulfillment of the tank fantasy, and I think Sion's by far the best, as Ambessa locked in against it. Not the easiest lane. Shouldn't be able to absolutely win out on the lane, but I mean, maybe they're just looking for the engaged potential in the team fights.
Here's the thing about the draft, though, like, when your eyes lock onto a Trundle ban, I see that Trundle ban. I gotta ban Sion, bro. Like, I don't understand why we're letting that one through. Sion is so strong on the current patch, and he's been an absolute menace at Worlds, where he can play weak side no problem, actually tends to come out ahead for the most point, and becomes this unkillable machine as the game goes on. It also limits your champion pool as a marksman, where there's certain picks that are just not as viable against someone as super beefy as Sion. But I just wanted to get that out of the way. Now we can focus on the rest of what's coming up so far. I mean, Talia and Bessa, this is a comp that's looking to go rather mid-spiky, to say the least, and does give you some good assassination, as well as the lock-in of the the Vayne. This is something that's kind of a sushi special. Aurora and Kaisa definitely going to make that difficult, though, because now we're seeing a lot of dive that can get to your back line pretty fast.
Yeah, but this is a pick that Sushi has kind of forced into his champion pool. This isn't something that he's played a lot if we look at him over in the last season, back when he was the sub for near airport. But for about a month straight, he would only pick Vayne and solo queue. This is a champion that he's made sure is in the perfect spot so he can finally pull it out for. Well, situations like this, I mean, you got the Sion. There's not many AD carries that'll be able to deal more damage than a Vayne, but Alistair locked in as well. This is also something that Vayne does quite well into, as Zeri's being hovered. We'll talk about that if it gets locked in there, but the Poppy pick, though, coming in from support. Okay, is that also an interesting pick, but I'll talk about the Poppy first. Because we've seen so many of those Poppy plays into the Kaisas. It makes it so much harder to find the perfect angle for the Killer Instinct, because you can get grounded in the middle of it. It's a dash, it's not a teleport, and that makes it so difficult to play, especially if you want to do a dive composition there. But Zed locked in, very good at taking out really a lot of these. And this is that jungle as well, so this is Munchie gonna be playing on this carry. This is gonna be a very interesting pick.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting game, man. I'm kind of surprised about the Alistair, but at the same time, I'm trying to think who would be a better support into this. Mostly because Poppy was picked on the opposite side.
Yeah.
And Poppy Steadfast Presence is one of the greatest tools you can have to block a lot of forward engages. So I don't know. I don't know what could really follow through on that. I think Alistair is just, we're going for the lane matchup more than anything else. Like Kaisa, Alistair is a very tried and true combo that can dominate quite early. The Zed is going to be one of the standouts alongside that Nefiri. It's going to be Kryra playing the Nefiri. Well, Zed going over to, well, what is most likely Phi Mini, I want to say.
I think it's Munchie.
This is jungle, yeah. Munchie.
That's Munchie, yeah.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
that's what's making this so interesting too, because we've seen them play those enablers in their last 2 games, right? The J4 and the Jin Zhao. Yes, you can kind of carry on both of them, but that's not that's not why you pick them. You pick them to set up ganks. You pick them to kind of be those frontliners, start off fights. Zed and Nefiri, neither one can engage, neither one can start a fight, but they can end it before it starts. They can just get those pickoffs. I mean, and especially on the side of the Nefiri, just continuously chaining into 1 kill after the next, just really snowballing those fights. And considering they have a Vayne, they have an Ambessa, they have the Poppy, I think that is going to be the strategy coming out of Team A. Just trying to get 1 early kill and then just keep chaining that into more and more. But on the side of Team B, going to be really hard to play into that Poppy.
I mean, you don't have a true tank, really, to that regard, so it does give a lot of character selection for Munchie to go after on this Zed. And of course, Zed also has, you know, he's a little bit more than an assassin. He's a more developed person. He's got some culture where he can play the side lanes as well and clear out those waves pretty quickly. Not typically the most active thing you see from Zed players when they're playing out of the jungle, but it's sure to be an exciting pick coming out of Munchie alongside this Nefiri. But I still do kind of worry for Team A just because of the Scion that Denethor will be playing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the big thing. Sushi needs to be able to get ahead, and Sushi needs to be able to get those auto attacks off during the team fights. And if Munchie just goes straight for Sushi, even if he doesn't kill him, if he can just zone him away from Rovix and Denethor, the rest of the team is going to fall apart on Team A. Sushi needs to be able to get his damage off. Otherwise, this Alistar and Sion, they effectively will just be immortal in those team fights. They need those silver bolts to proc as much as possible. But at the same time, like you were saying, for Team A, their only quote-unquote true tank would be Protoss. But this is a support Poppy. This isn't one that's going to have high income, not going to be able to buy those big, expensive tank items. Will need to be buying a lot of wards as well, so a couple of the slots are just going to be filled out with that. So at the same time, there are so many targets for Munchie, for 5 Mini, even for Levitate to potentially just look in the backline.
It's going to put so much stress on Protoss, though. That's going to be my biggest worry out of all of this is, like, can you actually handle the onslaught that's looking for your backline? Because you only have so many tools you can use. Of course, Steadfast Presence is going to be the first one to block out the Alistar engages. But can you peel off Zed? Can you get this Aurora away from Sushi? You know, from Protoss in the past, like, sure, he does play a good amount of tanks. I've always seen him do really well on stuff like Karma. Poppy is something that's a little less common when it comes to his champion pool. So I do have my worries right there, but we'll see if Sushi and his absolute mastery of Vayne can keep up this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Sushi was the second biggest Vayne player that we have in this combine. First, obviously going to be Enthralled, has been a OTP for Vayne for a very long time. But this is a pick that Sushi's definitely aware of. But for Protoss, you're talking about this, and I think it's really interesting that, because I think the Poppy is a very good pick. I think in general, Poppy stops so much of what Team B want to have happen. But when Poppy is the only tank, so much responsibility of these fights will go on to Protoss. There's going to be a lot of pressure onto the support, and Protoss, at least from my awareness, is still decently new in the scene. So this isn't a veteran player that will be able to necessarily play this to perfection. This is going to be Protoss' time to show exactly what he can do on picks like this, just kind of being the enabler for the team this time around, since the carries are going to be in the jungle.
And I know we've been staying on the bot lane for a long time. I'm going to make it a little bit longer. Sushi also having the final hour, I think, is one of the saving graces for Protoss right here, because every time you tumble, you go invisible. So that makes it a little harder to actually lock down a Vayne that tumbles on a very short cooldown when the Vayne gets going and she's moving all over the place. So yeah, I think really the heroes of the hour is going to be focused on bot.
Yeah, and now Munchie is in the bot lane, but Sushi going forward.
Oh, Sushi's going real forward, and we'll get first blood onto the Alistar. You're not escaping this. Here comes Zed. Munchie will be able to take a bite out of Sushi. Underneath the tower, going for a dive. Decoy is going to dive for it and feed a kill over to Denethor in the process.
Yeah, and the kill does go over to Decoy as well, but the wave looks like it's going to be pushing into Denethor, and that's going to be so rough for Decoy. Buzz bot lane again. Protoss?
Oh, you can get this one. You can get this one, producer. There you go. There you go. Beats of Warfare going to be picked up as Levitate will grab the kill on the Protoss.
And there's going to be a massive CS gap starting to form in the bot lane as well. I mean, Levitate got that kill, was behind a kill compared to Sushi because that last kill was secured by Munchie instead. But 35 to 21 CS. Now, obviously, some of that's going to even out once this wave does get pushed in, especially if Sushi's able to hold this wave. But with Rovix in the area, it's going to be so difficult for Sushi to be able to do that. As really nice seismic shove, not going to be able to get the kill, but ton of poke damage going towards 5 Mini.
And this is a lot of what we had set the table for earlier. The fact that Rovix, he's not going to have an easy way into actually stopping Sushi. Steadfast Presence is always going to be that obstacle that he has to get past. That allows Sushi to just play aggro as all hell. Just go right after the Alistair. That's what resulted in our first blood, despite kills going both ways. See right there, 5 Mini being able to cancel out from the flick. But yeah, both of our ADCs getting kills early on in this bottom lane and an exchange of kills over on the top side. Slight advantage over to Team B for that extra one that Munchie was able to grab. And now Kryra eyeballing the top lane. Denethor will spot him.
There's no way. Yeah, I mean, Denethor is really high HP. Hoarder is not level 6 as well for the Sion. There's no angle to be found there, but while we were setting up this dappling in the bot lane, I mean, I just gotta say, I'm happy they're no longer bullying mid. They're bullying every other lane instead.
It's going to be a tough one for Rovix to get through. That's why he's just straight walking up.
Yeah.
Gets pushed away by the Condemn, though, but in the blink of an eye, he's gone. Rovix will give his live support. Will fall. Kill going over support. Protoss is the one that grabs it. Munchie gets his second kill of the game.
I mean, that's still worth it, though, because Levitate's going to be able to push this in, no problem. Going to be able to get these last hits, going to be able to get the CS. And Sushi's just has to let the wave die again. Now, Protoss could be in a bad spot here as the Spellbook TP is going to be there for Rovix. But Munchie's starting to get online, and we know that Zed, especially with early items, can basically delete anyone off the map in the early game. And is just going to be scaling so well into the late game as Denethor just able to get a clean solo kill in the top lane. And things are really starting to fall apart for Team A.
Denethor smash! Denethor sea hero! Denethor no longer sea hero. All right, so gonna be nice for Denethor because that's kills coming in and more kills gonna be found in the mid lane. 5 Mini will accelerate this game even faster. There's kills in every single lane.
Yeah, and we know that this is still just a combine game, right? So win-loss doesn't necessarily matter, but Team A won game 1 and 2 in pretty convincing fashion too. They were back and forth for a bit, but Team A always had some modem of control. This time around, that's not the case. Team B, they're just making plays left and right. They got a kill for Denethor early on with the help of Munchie, and then after that, Denethor just able to get a solo kill in the top lane. Levitate 1-0-2 right now. 5 Mini got a kill in the mid lane with the help of Rovix, and everyone's just slowly but surely starting to go up in their lane. It's 6-3 in kills, and the kills are so spread out. And yeah, thank you for switching over to the gold here, because 300 in the mid lane, 300 top, 300 jungle. There's no one that's completely over the pace of the game yet, but every single advantage is just going over to Team B in every single lane.
I'm losing my mind, man. This is getting crazy very early on. Toki, is it cooked, brother? Is it going to be cooked right now? Is Levitate going to be cooked as well? Because Sushi, ooh, nice condemn. We'll find the wall. The only reason they couldn't continue with that is Protoss did use the Steadfast Presence, so Rovix had a way to get back in, but here we go once again. A little bit more of a slam down as Grubs is getting started, which beckons the question I asked earlier, Toki. Is it cooked, brother?
I don't think it is. I think Team A, they could definitely come back into this game later. And a big part of it is I want to see Adam start making some aggressive plays. Once you hit level 6, once you have Weaver's Wall, you should be trying to make plays with it as Munchie just going to continue zoning Decoy away. But that's, I think, what Team A need to do right now. They just need to overload a lane as Decoy going back in.
Decoy? That's not your base. That might not even be your tower anymore, but look at this. Outplay gonna come out using the Deathmark Shadow to get back over to safety. And now if you want to get onto Munchie, big Denethor is right there. This is a big meaty man.
Definitely, and I mean, this is showing how difficult it is for Team A right now because they have to bring their support for Decoy, and Decoy has to burn his ultimate just to get half a wave of CS. That's what that was for, just catching the last little bit of minions that were underneath that turret. They almost turned that into a play, but maybe they're going to turn this into a play.
This is still a little bit tricky to go for. Denethor does have his ultimate, and that's exactly the escape he takes. See you later, as Denethor will get his recall.
Yeah, but that's still going to be the flash. That's still going to be the ultimate. At the very least, it'll open up a little bit of space for Decoy to be able to push out the wave, get a clean reset, as we are going to be seeing, looks like a little bit of a lane shuffle coming out of Team B here. So they're going to be sending Denethor up to the top lane. They're going to be sending their bot duo over to the mid lane. They're going to be sending Phi Mini over to the bot lane. So next objective, we are at 10 minutes. I believe it is going to be that dragon once again. So it makes sense to send your top laner back kind of to the island. Have your bot lane duo in the mid lane. They're up 15 CS right now, by the way, on Levitate. They have the full completed Kraken Slayer. So this is a very strong point for Levitate.
Killer Instinct going out on a Sushi. The auto's landing flush. Waiting for the follow-up of Munchie with the Shadow. Gets the assassination, and Munchie will grab kill number 3.
Yeah, and I like that Levitate was just pushing forward. He knows he has Kraken. Sushi does not have item. I go forward. That's all you need to know in those situations. And Munchie being nearby, the amount of distance that a Zed is able to cover, and that was without ultimate. As never mind, Adam getting hit in the Balth lane.
Yeah, Between Worlds getting popped out from Phi Mini. Adam not looking too hot. Is able to get the flick off the seismic shove. Will that be enough for a disengage? It is. Weaver's wall. A little bit too late there, Rovek. And peace out. Adam finds safety.
Yeah, but unlike TP's gonna be coming through.
Oh no. Oh, okay. Whew, just fast enough.
And I just cast a Crusade into the future because I was about to say, and unlike Kryra in the previous game, Adam will not get out as he just teleports out right back out to safety. So, I mean, really nice play to be able to get out of there. Obviously wasn't able to really find anything before them, but even staying just to clean up the wave, I mean, that's a little bit of confidence coming out from Adam there.
Very nice that Decoy was able to finish the Eclipse, because it's at least slightly ahead of the itemization curve that Denethor is going for, mostly just from expense and from going for components. Means you don't have a full item just yet, but hey, this might be hubris now as Decoy getting a little bit too far forward, and Munchie sees food, able to pop him with the death mark and go on a rampage.
The fact that this Zed is so far ahead is so scary for Team A, though. They might have been able to find it. Adam has a good angle. Protoss is in the area.
Oh, actually, that was the knock the wrong way, but there's Protoss! You're not escaping me! Finds the shutdown, and oh god, Rovek's out of nowhere.
Yeah, Rovek's just there to knock him back after, and that might unironically be decent, as actually they're just going to be hitting the dragon. Their Kryra's alone here, so we'll be able to just smite this out. But to talk about that last play we saw in the top lane, that was a lot of gold going over to the support. The shutdown's gone. This means Munchie can continue playing aggressively. He no longer has to worry about being that objective that everyone else is going to want to delete off the map. Instead, they can continue playing forward, continue playing aggro, as it looks like Protoss wants to play aggro down in the bot lane, though.
Yeah, pops the ultimate, but Protoss is alone for a while. Almost falls, will escape by the skin of his teeth. And the rest of Team A looking to bail off of that play.
Yeah, definitely going a little bit too far there. You're still a support, and you did get that massive shutdown, but as we can see in the gold screen there, hasn't spent it yet. So Protoss definitely cannot be standing in the front line like that as in the top lane. Adam getting dove.
Top lane. Uh-oh. It's another bad way for Adam. No, Adam gets the outplay. Adam got the outplay. Munchie's dead. What just happened?
Yeah, but that's, again, kind of the point I was making just now. Yes, Munchie died. Great play from Team A. I do not want to take anything away there. But that wasn't the shutdown. That was not the 750 gold going to Adam. That was maybe 300. And that just means that those kinds of plays, those kind of 50-50s, are more worth going if you are Munchie. And with that, though, the overall goal lead has definitely shrunk by a lot. Especially for Adam now. 119 CS, 1-1-1 has gold as Denethor.
Yeah, public execution. Denethor still has a lot of armor, so he can get underneath his tower. This is absorb quite a bit more. Dodging out will be Kryra. Denethor looking to try and clear up this wave. Denethor, he's still alive, and Kryra doesn't have enough health to continue, but the tower finally falls. Denethor looking for his escape, but there's nowhere to go. He doesn't have the unstoppable onslaught. His flash is on cooldown. His life is forfeit.
Yeah, but he buys so much time for the rest of his team to kind of push out the top lane, get the mid lane priority for themselves. That should be another turret going the way of Team B as 5 minis pushing that in. Munchie's already been there. They have wards set up, so will be a very safe turret to take. So overall, still a winning trade for Team A, but not by quite as much as it could have been had Denethor not bought this much time.
I mean, it took a while to kill Denethor. You're going against a bunch of 80 items, and he's got nothing but armor itemized. So he was able to absorb quite a bit of that 2-buy time. Tower still goes down, though. And it does give Team A catch-up gold. Gold now being relatively even as Shelly started up.
Yeah, and the lead that they had on Team B, it's completely gone now. Team A is up by around 100 gold, so more or less they're even. But they had such strong pacing early on. It's definitely going to be a shame for them as they're going to try to rebuild on that original pace. They're going to get the Rift Herald. Top tier 1 incredibly low. Bottom tier, or sorry, mid tier 1 also incredibly low. So if they're able to turn this into a couple turrets for themselves, it'll give them a lot of that standing gold that they see on the map, as they're not going to burn Herald here quite yet. And I think that's the right call. I think they should save this for the mid tier 1. Dragon's going to be up soon, and that could be their moment to regain their lead.
You know, Toki, I was thinking it was cooked. Turns out I'm a bad chef. And this game is still very active right now.
I mean, let's not get too hasty either, because I think this next dragon fight could actually be what determines this game, at least in terms of where they are. But yeah, I thought the Protoss being the one to get the kill onto Munchie would have definitely hurt them, but they could still definitely cook over on Team B. They gave away a couple plays, but they haven't given away anything big yet. It's just been a lot of small things going the way of Team A. Once we see this next team fight, I think that's where we can determine whether they're chef de cuisine or if they're just a dishwasher.
And all at the same time, one of the things we talked about was not having a true tank. Because Protoss did get that kill, his dead man's plate is complete. So he's actually kind of keeping up at tank levels to some regard. You know, maybe it's not going to be Denethor, but hey, you got an item completed, so does Denethor. You can absorb some damage now, and now at the top like execution ain't gonna hit diddly squat, man. As we continue over here, I think the play might be over. Kryro trying to run away from Denethor, has to flash over the wall to survive.
Yeah, and it's just gonna get harder and harder to dive onto Denethor. I mean, last time the only way the dive worked is when they had 3 members and they had the time to kill the turret before anything else. But levitate.
Oh, levitate, levitate, levitate. He's dead, and Sushi will grab that kill. Looking to go forward with the death mark, still claiming one, will be Munchie. Now Munchie going forward, gets picked up by the headbutt pulverized. Sushi still alive, trying to find Denethor. Denethor puts out a decimating smash, it does not kill Sushi. A double kill for Munchie. Hoarder on the run, spamming that passive to create some distance, but the headbutt pulverized of the cow will not see a runaway. Munchie gets a triple kill.
And that's the power of having that carry jungle. Munchie just able to bring out so much damage there. Zoned away Sushi, then turned right back in to finish off Kryra, who was trying to dive in on a 5 mini. And 5 mini also on the Yunara, or sorry, not the Yunara, on the Aurora, just able to continuously dish out damage. She's been having a very quiet game. But like I said, this next dragon fight, that's what I expected things to get explosive. And that's exactly what's happened. It's now Adam. Could be in a bad spot here.
Oh my goodness, we're just hunting down Adam, trying to get over to the blast planet.
Oh, hi.
No, in the wrong direction. It sends Adam in the wrong direction on top of it. Weaver's Wall now going to come out, counterattack coming out from Kryra. Protoss will find his way. He might flash over this, going for the Hex Flash. Not exactly make it through, though. The cow is getting lower and lower, has a minion to try and pull safety. Munchie needs to run, will be able to clone right on out. Another flick of the seismic shove doesn't land on the diddly squat, and Denethor is a big tanky man as he smashes down with his axe and will take all that damage and send them a goodbye gift. All in the meanwhile, another seismic shove goes wide, and Team A empty-handed.
Yeah, and Team B, they're going to be able to take away the dragon. They're going to be able to get back to safety. They'll lose their raptors, but that's really it. That's all Team A could take from that play. And we see there just how difficult it is to take out Denethor when Sushi's not involved. They had all 4 members just free hitting onto this sign, just free hitting onto this main tank. And even with all the gold they have, all the items they have, they're just not able to penetrate barely even the shield from the soul furnace of Denethor. As now they are going to pop the Herald, and a good nice seismic shove.
Yeah, seismic shove doing its job now. Sushi needs a front line to work for him, but Shelly will mean, hey, we're just gonna Tokyo drift right on out for Rovex.
I think that was the right call. I think Rovex would have definitely gone down otherwise. Only thing is, I think Rovex could have just taken that to the bot lane. I think there was definitely a world where they just walk in, take that tier 1, and get at least something out of this Herald. Definite shame that they weren't able to get anything in the mid lane, but all things considered, when Adam lands a seismic shove like that and no one goes down, you're breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief on Team B.
Taking a look at the gold right now. 1K separating the junglers. That's going to be the big spot to watch because you had mentioned it, Toki. This Zed is the big carry, and Munchie's been able to pull off some pretty solid plays to isolate a lot of these carries, keep them out of the game, continue being that threat that we know Zed's to be.
Now, it's pretty funny if you do look at the overall gold, overall score. Munchie only has 129 CS. Incredibly behind everyone else in this game except for the supports, because Munchie's just munching on champions. He does not want to go for the camps, only takes them out of necessity. I think if it was up to him, this would basically just be an ARAM game.
If there's one thing I've learned from what we saw in Worlds, the Test versus BLG game, sometimes just sending it is the strategy to go for, man.
I mean, it's clearly worked for Munchie. 7-2-0, 2 items. Shojin already eclipsed. Like, he's not too upset about being down a little bit of CS, and most of that is just the trades after his plays. They just take away his Raptors, they take away his Scruggs, but I don't think he really cares.
He's looking for the setup right now. Kryra just hops over the wall. Doggy, no problem. It knows a couple of tricks.
Yeah, we'll just be able to jump over to safety. And again, 2 items on that jungler as well. Already has the Black Cleaver, the Eclipse as well. So they're going to be able to shred a lot of that armor. And I think it does make sense to get that pretty early on. The rest of the team is very attack damage focused. But looking at that, one item I actually kind of want to see, probably from Denethor, maybe Rovex. Oh, it was Levitate.
Ooh, Levitate in a bad way. Uses the Killer Instinct to create some distance on the opposite side of the Weaver's wall. Now counterattack coming through 5 Mini, able to put them between worlds, looking for Sushi. Sushi getting caught by the death mark, and that is dead to rights. 5 Mini takes the kill. Decimating Smash gonna find Adam in a bad way as he will get clipped by Munchie, and Team B will get a 2-0.
And they're going to start pinging onto the Otacon. Should be a free objective for them. However, this is still going to be an objective that takes a long time to kill. So what I want to see Team A do right now, they're pinging over onto both the right places. This is exactly what I want. I want them to take the mid tier 1, and then I want them to transition that into, at the very least, vision control around this dragon. And that's exactly where we see Cry right now. That's exactly where we see Protoss right now. Just getting that vision line set up, walking in forward. Decoy's gonna be pushing in the wave. Denethor is here, but there's really no turret, so Denethor might have actually overstepped.
Denethor versus the world, but I've seen this man deadlift. Gets caught by the public execution. More damage now coming through. 3 members on top of him as the rest of his squad is now coming off of the reset. Denethor tries to defend the tower, but he falls.
Yeah, and that's the big difference of having that Black Cleaver completed onto Kryra. It completely shreds Denethor. And since the rest of the team is doing physical damage, again, minus Adam, who's still very defensive build, by the way. I haven't really talked about that, but it's Seraph's Embrace into the Rylai's. So I'm hoping that that's not a Zanya's coming in next, though it very well could be, judging by that Avtome and needlessly large rod. Because right now they're just not going to be able to deal damage outside of it. Yes, with the Black Cleaver, they have some penetration, but Denethor's not done stacking armor. Denethor's going to continue getting that. And I even kind of want to see him get the Frozen Heart this game. I know that's not the big sign item. That's not an item you typically get. But so much of their damage relies on Sushi, just being able to do percent health, that I think it would extend the team fight so much for Team B.
You know, going back to the point you were talking about, Adam, I still think it's okay to go for the Hourglass, given that Adam is decently ahead at the current moment, at least in comparison to Fine Mini. The way the game's been going, more focused around the towers and objectives than anything else. You can tell by the itemization itself, it's 2 items to 2.1 items in favor of Adam. Now Adam, looking for an angle right now, will focus onto Fine Mini. Unraveled Earth comes down. Fine Mini running out of mobility options. Will use the Between Worlds, but on the opposite end, it is Kryra to shut him down.
That's going to be another huge shutdown going the way of Team A. Now, unfortunately for them, there really isn't an objective for them to take off the back of this. Baron is going to spawn, or sorry, Baron is going to spawn, but I don't think they're going to be able to take this for themselves. It's still very dangerous. Munchie's still alive. Denethor is still alive. Levitate's alive. There's too many threats, but they're definitely going to take this. It's a free kill for themselves. It's going to let them get further and further into the late game as Adam just going to be using the Weaver's Wall, just a little bit scared of that killer instinct that could come out of Levitate for that play. But overall, it's looked one-sided at the start, but we definitely have ourselves a game as we are completely tied once again in gold and in dragons.
I will say, Adam's been using that Weaver's Wall to escape more than not. You know, it's not even used for the engage. It's not used to cut off these choke points for fights. It's just like, I need a get out of dodge button. And Adam's been using it well enough. I will give credit over there for that regard. But 25 minutes into this, as you had mentioned, it is an even game. We got 3 minutes before another dragon is going to hit the map. Baron still available, and both of these teams are quite quick at taking Baron. Kaisa and Vayne can do damage quite fast for those neutral objectives. And with a Fed Zed on top of that, that's going to be something to keep a close eye on, as it's already started up by Munchie.
They don't see the ward, though. That pink ward's not spotting this out. This is completely on vision. Team A know exactly what's going down, but they're going to engage instead.
Here we go, Unstoppable Onslaught finds its mark on the Protoss. Now Kryra looking to walk away, Seismic Shove onto nothing. Decimating Smash just to continue pushing that way forward. Then Thor, again, very tanky man, but you can see that Sushi on the Vayne with true damage. Speaking of damage, it's a lot of damage landing true onto Adam as he falls to half health. And this is the game that Team B can play. They can just chunk out members, maybe get a pick here or there, and then focus on the Baron and continue the dance.
Yeah, and without the Poppy, their execution is so much easier in these fights. I can see why they're trying to flip this, but it's going to be close.
Kryra's over the wall now. Here comes the fight. Looking to get away is going to be Robex.
He stole it!
Will get the steal. Levitate picks up a kill on the opposite end. Sushi trying to outplay this. Munchie wants to escape. Sushi gets the auto, and he will claim the shutdown. A double kill for Levitate all the meanwhile. And a crazy steal by Kryra. It is not done, though. Decimating Smash lands onto nothing. Out comes the Seismic Shove. Denethor is getting lower and lower, but Kryra wants to outplay. Coming in with the Weaver's Wall. Protoss has arrived as well, right off the respawn. Able to find the knockup. Kryra gets the kill. Rovix gets out. Denethor gets chipped away at, and still Levitate on the killing spree is unstoppable. Double kill now picked up. Kryra has to run away after a beautiful steal.
I don't even know if he's running away. He's still walking forward, but that steal just makes the play work for Team A there. Obviously, Team B ends up winning out on the team fight. Levitate kind of going untouched most of that fight, and even had the issue of just running out of mana. You know you're able to free hit, you're able to free cast your abilities when your only thing preventing you from continuing the team fight is mana problems as an AD carry. But with that being said, with everything being done, we're still even in gold. These two teams are still on the exact same spot, and we're just gonna have to wait for the next play, which is coming up soon, Dragon in 20.
What a huge slip up from Team B's side. They already had what they needed. They were able to grab a pick, but you need to spot out where the jungler is. We know how good Kryra is. He's able to get the smite, secures it for Team A. And just like that, especially with the shutdown picked up, seeing Munchie go down to Sushi, there's a big breath of life, and they're feeling good right now.
Yeah, and Team A definitely feeling good right now. They're going up to the top lane. It looks like they want to make another play on the Denethor, and I don't think he's going to get away this time. Oh! Instant caster curse just going to immediately come through. And it could be a potential base race, but no Baron on Team B, but they have the first push.
Yeah, while the standing gold is a little bit more on the plentiful side for Team A to pick up, you're still sacrificing a lot to go grab it right now. That's why the rest of the team, now coming off the respawn, looking to defend their inhibitor tower. Rovex will lead the charge, look for the headbutt pulverize, gets dodged out by Kryra. Inhibitor open for the taking. Kryra and Decoy can only watch. Now super minions will arrive in the bot lane.
Yeah, and if they're able to continuously defend from these minions, that might not even be a bad trade for Team A. They got the tier 2 in the mid lane, tier 1 and tier 2 in the top lane. That's a lot of gold going over to them. And if they are able to hold on to these lanes, that's even going to be more gold funneling into them just because of those super minions. But at the same time, Baron is going to be up in 3 minutes, so there is going to be a little bit of overlap with the Baron being up on the map and their inhibitor still being down.
Yeah.
Not to mention, one lost fight. That's an angle for them to end.
I don't think it's the worst situation for Team A, but it does put them in a bit of a pickle, to say the least. As you had mentioned, there's that slight overlap, but because there's nothing else to really fight for in that time, it's not the worst case for that inhibitor to be missing. Just got to watch out for some of those backdoor plays that can come through. Headbutt Pulverize is going to find its mark onto Kryra. Munchie looking for more, but a nice seismic shove gets found by Adam. Death Mark coming out, doesn't find much. The pop comes through, and thanks to those invulnerability frames that you get from the Nefiri, it's going to be a clean escape from Kryra.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to clear this wave out as well. So Team B looking for the angle, and I think it was a good look, just not really able to make anything happen there. As now Adam just getting poked out by those Void Seekers. Levitate just hitting every single one. And is, by the way, on 4 items now and the tier 3 boot. So this guy's very, very much online and can absolutely shred anyone.
By the way, a bit of follow-up of the itemization. We thought it was going to be the Zonio's Hourglass. It's actually the Shadow Flame that gets completed for Adam. So still locking into that damage.
TP's in the top side.
Now here we go, Decoy. Looking to escape this one. Public Execution doesn't find its mark. Adam's been so clean when it comes to a lot of these seismic shoves. Headbutt Pulverize lands onto Protoss. Protoss absorbing damage. Decoy jumping forward. Denethor holding the line. He's a big tanky boy, but he's taking way too much damage. Between Worlds gonna get popped by 5 mini. Instantly gets canceled in the process, but down goes Sushi. Now Decoy on the run, gets chipped away again by 5 mini. The rest of Team A on retreat, but look at the dive angle. Now set up by Rovex. Steadfast Presence goes out, and he can't even use it because he's dead. Decimating Smash finds the knockup, and one by one, they're done. It's an ace. Team B, get the team fight.
And that should be the game right there. I mean, Rolex just flashing forward, headbutt pulverizing the wave. They know they've done it. They know they've won. They were down 0-2 at the start of this, but they finally earned themselves their first victory. Gonna walk in 3 super minions in that bot lane, by the way. And everything said and done, they definitely earned this one. Just finding a really nice angle on the Sushi. They kept Protoss out of that fight, and Levitate just dealing so much damage in that final team fight.
All right, here comes Sushi looking for a 1 versus 4 quadra kill. Let's make it happen. No?
This is for his highlight reel.
There it goes. It's
No, not gonna happen.
And yeah, what a nice fight coming out from Team B at the very end of that. Especially their setup around everything. I mean, Rovex was very, very patient when it came to his headbutt pulverizes, not getting caught by the Steadfast Presence. Sometimes the best angle is just to walk up slowly and down smash them, and that's exactly what we got. So overall, a great display coming out from Team B.
Yeah, and I mean, it definitely takes a lot of mental control and a lot of patience to be able to play the Alistair into the Poppy. But like you said, it prevents the headbutt, does nothing for the pulverize. So if you have the confidence, if you know you have the positioning, you can literally just take a nice leisurely stroll, walk right up to the team, and they're like, yeah, this is a good angle. And just boom, 3 people knocked straight up into the air, make the team fight happen straight afterwards. And the fact that Rovex had that patience definitely made it really easy for the team. But I gotta say, this was the closest game we've had so far, and I love the Worlds drafts we're doing, but I gotta say, having this 3rd game as a treat, just kind of having that extra fearless where the players get to pick what they want. I mean, how often are we gonna see the Nefiri Zed, you know? Like, this is not something we're gonna see if we keep pulling in the Worlds draft, so I think this is like the perfect middle ground to see a little bit of everything.
It was so exciting, man. The Nefiri Zed, even the Vayne that was picked up by Sushi. I want to really stick onto that Zed pick though, because throughout that final game three, Munchie was a constant threat that made it so hard for Sushi to go forward, for Adam to go forward, and getting those early kills. Sure, there was some shutdowns picked up here and there, but getting the amount of kills that Munchie was able to get, still so immaculate when it came to the Zed play.
Yeah, and just completely traded all jungle pressure, at least for the camps, just for those kills. And I was a little bit concerned at the start because I mean, let's think back to the very first kill. It was the bot lane gank. They found Sushi. Sushi was 100% dead. Levitate was in the area. And no, throws a shadow, throws a shuriken. Nope, that's mine. Sorry, Levitate. Just had, and this is the belief and confidence you want from a carry jungler. This is someone who says, yes, you're the carry role, but not this game. I'm going to be the one to carry because I can be online before you. AD carries need 2 items before they're strong. I'm going to be strong right now. And I mean, it clearly worked out. Munchie was just able to build on that, kept finding more and more plays. And the teamfight prowess Munchie displayed in some of those bigger teamfights was probably the biggest selling point for me because there's a few moments, put the death mark onto Sushi. Sushi tumbles away and immediately turns back to the front line. He doesn't want to kill Sushi. He just wants him out of the fight. And that's what I said he needed to do. That was the one big threat for Denethor and for Rovex. So as long as Sushi's not in the fight, he can just turn around and help the rest of his team. And played it to perfection, I gotta say.
And one last shout out over to Kryra for that Baron steal because that was beautiful to see. But overall, every player having their standout highlight moments. It was a fun 3-game series to watch, but does come to its conclusion for this block. We will be changing up our rosters as we'll be taking a longer break going forward. I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's my first time casting with Toki. I got to say, man, you're a fun guy to cast with.
I had an absolute blast too. I hope we get more casts together.
Yeah, so my name is Mendesrex. This has been Toki. Shout out to Golden for doing production. And be sure to stay tuned. We got more of the Sido.gg Path2Pro scanning combine.